From the Kiss 92.5 studios in Toronto, Canada.
Are you ready?
Ladies and gentlemen,
this is Roz and Mocha.
it's Roz and Mocha. What's going on?
Hey guys, this is Bruno Mars.
This is Selena Gomez.
The Chainsmokers.
Lady Gaga.
Calvin Harris.
Celestia Cara.
This is Ed Sheeran.
You're listening to my boys Roz and Mocha.
Roz and Mocha.
My boys Roz and Mocha.
The Roz and Mocha Show.
Between Roz and Mocha, who is your favorite?
Mocha. You guys are so funny, man.
Congratulations, Lisa! Wow!
You just won $1,000.
That is amazing. Y'all just made my entire morning. Keep it up.
You guys are awesome, man. This is the Roz and Mocha Show podcast.
I think Maury's trying to quit.
Why?
Let me get your opinion on this. Because I've had strong feelings about this forever.
Okay.
First of all, hello, Maury.
Hi, how you doing? Good to see you.
Uh-huh. So let me ask you this question. I have always had feelings about people who are full-time employees, have had jobs for a while, that still have active LinkedIn profiles.
Oh, okay.
Okay? I think when you work for a place, the LinkedIn profile needs to be put on pause.
Couldn't disagree more.
So
it's just like when you are in a relationship.
Turn Tinder off.
Yeah. Get rid of all the apps.
Absolutely.
Delete.
It's what you do.
But that's not, but hold on. But LinkedIn is not a dating app for you looking for things. LinkedIn is for networking.
To find jobs.
No, it's also for networking and showcasing what you're working on and making it. Yes, absolutely.
No, it's not.
Have you been on there?
It's to find work. Everybody knows LinkedIn is to find work.
Oh no, it's to
to make those connections.
Tweets. He does. It's not even that like you. This is why I was so upset about this, Maury. Is that it's not that you just have LinkedIn. Maury tweeted, "Always looking to network and grow my LinkedIn connection. Add me," with a link to his profile on LinkedIn.
And if you're not happy here, just say so,
dude. But that's not what it's for.
Then why would you tweet out your LinkedIn profile?
So that I can get more people on there.
I saw this last night. It honestly felt like I saw my girlfriend on.
Before I did it, I asked my friend in the industry, "Can I do this? Is this bad?" And she said, "No, it's for networking. You should absolutely get more people on there."
Why wouldn't you just ask me?
Because you would have said no.
Right.
Yeah. So why would I ask you if I know your answer?
But then why would you do it?
Hey Shem, can you draft up a note that goes out to say that we're looking for?
No, I'm not. I don't want to look for anybody. This is my thing. I don't want to get dumped, but I feel like I'm on the verge of getting dumped.
Wow,
no, you're not. Okay, first of all, you're not. No,
right? I really did. That's how I feel, and I haven't felt this way in a very long time.
Mocha's taking your side,
but I haven't felt this way in like a very long time because all the relationships in my life, right? They're fine. They're settled. They are what they are. There's no drama on that front, and there hasn't been drama on that front in a long time.
I would say
this. No, I've never had LinkedIn.
Can I speak honestly?
I've always been fully
Can I
employed.
speak honestly?
Yes.
The way things go this year, the way things are in the industry,
right?
It's good to always be prepared.
Keep your options open?
No, to just be, in case something happens, you have to look like...
What's going to happen?
I don't know. There's so many layoffs all around the world. You want to just look like, you want to be ready.
But you don't do that. Do you think that this is going to help if somebody's going through a list of people that they should keep and not keep? You think that the guy who's tweeting out his LinkedIn profile is going to be on the list of keep?
No, it's not for to keep. It's for if anything happens, there are people who
I know,
see
but
you.
This makes it look like you want to jump.
No.
This makes it look like you want to dump us.
Wow. Just take my side.
Wow.
I hate the wow. The wow is upsetting. Don't wow. I don't like the wow.
What's upsetting is that you tweeted out to thousands of people that you're looking for a job.
How is that any different than tweeting out, "Hey, add me on Facebook or Instagram"?
Because it's completely different.
No,
That's
it's
not what they're for.
No, absolutely. There are people on LinkedIn right now that
You
would
said
1,000% agree with me.
always looking to network and grow my LinkedIn connections. Add me.
Okay, anybody in the business should know networking is so important.
No, you don't network.
Wow.
Networking. First of all, can I say this?
Sure.
You can say whatever you want.
I also added people in radio stations in the UK and stuff, other producers.
Oh, in the UK?
Oh,
wow.
So wait a second. Wow. You don't want to just leave us. You want to leave Matthew?
No, I'm trying to.
Does Matthew know that you want to move to the UK?
You're like people on Big Brother who don't let me speak when I'm on the blog.
I've literally said this is the least amount I've ever said on this show, and I've said it I've said a lot on this show.
But you're wow.
This is wow.
Don't do the wow.
The Roz and Mocha Show podcast.
Hi, it's Roz and Mocha.
I got to say, I think this might be the first time ever, but Roz is wrong on the LinkedIn thing.
Oh, God.
Yeah, sorry. Like, I mean, you're always right about everything, but this is the first time you're actually wrong because I know a guy who loves his job, not looking to change, but he uses LinkedIn every single day for networking.
For what, though? For what purposes?
He basically, so this is the catch, is his job is finding other people work.
There you go. That's the difference.
But it doesn't matter.
No.
He uses LinkedIn. He's not looking for a job for himself.
No. I understand that. I understand if using LinkedIn is part of your job.
Well, there's tons of people who are like that, who use LinkedIn as part of their job.
No.
So don't get me wrong. What
But
Maury's
this is
doing, he's
but
cheating
this
on
is
you.
not this is not one of those times.
No, Maury's cheating on you. But I'm just saying, you're wrong about LinkedIn.
Yeah.
What's your
LinkedIn
name? What's your
can't
name on the
be used for
phone?
other things. It's Herman. I've called you guys tons of
Oh,
times.
Harmon, what's up, dude? All right, yo, somebody texted and said LinkedIn is now used for dating and meeting people because it's less obvious than Tinder.
Right. Yeah.
Yep.
Or is it that, Maury? Or maybe Maury's not cheating on us.
Oh,
because Matthew would never question. If Matthew found LinkedIn on your phone, he would never question it. Never question it.
Did you know? Did you guys know?
Are people
I don't know.
really hooking up on
I don't know if
LinkedIn?
Maury knows this or not, but with
Jesus.
LinkedIn, you can see who's been checking out your page.
No, only if you pay extra.
Oh,
You can go in and see. You know why I know this?
Why?
Jenna's ex-boyfriend.
Yeah?
On her LinkedIn.
No.
Yeah, he frequents her page.
No,
Really?
but only
Really
if you
does.
pay for premium.
Yeah.
Interesting. And do you pay for premium?
Hell no.
No. So I'm surprised that you don't pay for premium because you were the exact type of person who would pay to see who looked at their page.
Yeah.
Like you're their
Did you
like
know
you
that
are
that
their
existed?
exact target audience.
Because it tells me going 30 people have looked. Now, if you want to find out who, click here for premium.
Right. And how much does that cost?
Something like $12 a month.
Yeah.
So, Raj, you need to go on LinkedIn, sign up, and find out who he's cheating on you with.
Honestly, dude, I've never even seen LinkedIn.
He doesn't care.
I've never even seen it. I don't care.
Well, you sounded like you were worried this morning that he was leaving you.
Well, no, I'm hurt. That doesn't mean I care.
Oh,
He just found out he's been cheated on.
Yeah, I'm still processing, man. There's stages to this, dude.
oh my God. This is an epic conversation. Thank you so much.
All right, brother. You take care.
Thanks,
Have a
Harmon.
good
Have a
one.
great day. Later.
Bye.
The Roz and Mocha Show podcast.
You see this clip of Shaquille O'Neal talking to Conan O'Brien about how one of the trainers put IcyHot on his junk?
No.
By mistake?
I think I've heard this story before.
I have not. And I listened to it and I'm like, oh my God, man.
Yeah, because Shaq is like the spokesperson, or at least at one point was.
Yeah.
He was endorsing IcyHot. He got me to buy IcyHot once.
Really? Is that
Yes.
what it was? What's that? He still is the.
He still is the IcyHot guy.
This
Yeah.
is. I don't know if this is if you're not only a client but also the spokesperson. I don't know if this is the best story to be telling, but you got to hear this. This is Shaq talking about that on Conan O'Brien.
I always used to see IcyHot in the locker room, and one day I kind of had like a thigh bruise, and the guy rubbed it, but he rubbed it too high. So during the game, my little guy started getting hot, like really hot. And it got to the point where I was like, I need a doctor. My little guys are on fire. So he's like, I think I put the IcyHot too high. So now I take a shower.
It gets worse, right?
Hot.
It gets worse.
Yes, it gets worse. So then I'm in there screaming, and there was a Spanish janitor in there. So you got to use milk. Capsaicin is hot pepper. So we Spanish people, when we eat hot pepper, the milk calms it down. So now I'm in the shower pouring milk on my boys, and the guys coming in, they're looking at me like, what the hell are you doing? But the milk actually worked.
Also,
the milk works.
Yeah, the milk works. Also, how ridiculous is it to hear Shaq refer to anything as the little guys? Right?
Yeah. So if you're I guess running around and
Sweating,
if
and it
it's
starts to
on the
your
high part,
legs, your big
the high part of your
Shaq thighs
thigh.
are rubbing
Yeah.
together, and it's creeping up on you, and all
because
this
I've
other
used
stuff.
that IcyHot before.
Yeah.
And it really does heat up.
Really, huh?
Yeah. I don't know what it is that they put in there.
Yeah.
It really does heat up though. So I feel bad for the guy.
The only time that I've had experienced anything that was sort of like that, but it was more self-induced or self-inflicted, was years ago. I was making a hot sauce and I was cutting Scotch bonnet peppers.
Ooh.
And not even thinking about anything.
Yeah.
And then during the middle of it, I just went to the bathroom and went pee. and then went back into the kitchen and just continued on. And 45, 50 seconds later, I dropped the knife on the counter and fell to the floor because I didn't wash my hands before I went pee after handling Scotch bonnet peppers.
Did you wash your hands after?
I did, but not before. So I was holding Scotch bonnet peppers, right? And then I went in and I went pee and then went back to the kitchen and then the heat started. And I didn't know what it was. I had no idea what was happening. I thought I was having a heart attack.
Really?
It hurt. Like the pain. I felt the pain in my heart before I felt it on my wiener. Right?
Really?
Like it was so intense. I thought I was having a heart attack.
You start
and
sweating
then I was alone.
Did you pour milk?
No.
I didn't know milk. I didn't know that. Right? So the first thing you do, and I don't think Shaq did this because he was probably in front of 22,000 people. But the first thing I did was I pulled my pants down, and then I flipped over and I put everything on the cold floor.
Oh, really?
Right? Yeah.
So you're laying there, pants down.
Yeah. On my stomach.
Face down on the floor.
Face down. And then I reach around and it wasn't cold enough. So I am at this point reaching around, pushing down on my own butt to get it closer to the cold floor.
Why didn't you just use an ice pack?
I didn't know what it was. I just knew I needed relief.
Yeah, but when you think cold, I don't think floor.
Also, but the floor was cold. We had like a tile floor. It's in the kitchen. It's the coldest thing in the house at that moment, right? Yeah. I'm not going to go rooting around the fridge.
You're panicking too, right?
Also, I'm panicking because I don't know what's happening. First, I think I'm having a heart attack. Then I think I'm having a wiener attack.
If you were having a heart attack, your first instinct is not to pull your pants down.
No, because then I realized it wasn't
the pain down there.
Yeah, it wasn't my.
What if the 911 people showed up?
Do you know how panicking it is when the first thing that you feel is pain in your heart, and then that pain switches to your wiener? Like that is like something that is you don't recover from that. You can't rash it. It's very confusing. Yes, so
it's traumatic.
But
really.
no, I didn't sit there and pour. I wish I had known the milk trick.
Are we telling stories?
No, we're not. I don't want. I want to hear none. No stories that involve you and anything that has to do with little you.
The Roz and Mocha Show podcast.
As the vaccines are rolling out in the States, I think it's like over 70 million people that they have vaccinated over there. They're opening up more and more things, right?
Mm-hmm.
And in Southern California, all the theme parks are getting ready to open up next month. All the big ones.
Right.
So you have like Disney, Universal, Six Flags, right? Limited capacity. They're getting ready for it. The California Attractions and Park Association is behind a plan that would encourage riders on roller coasters. You ready for this?
Mm-hmm.
To remain silent to prevent the spread of the coronavirus.
It's very difficult to do.
Reopening guidelines call for businesses to limit activities such as singing or shouting to stop the spread of coronavirus.
It's very difficult to do. That's like asking somebody to French kiss with your eyes open. Yeah. It's like it just instinctually your body just wants to do that, right?
Yeah, just to see, just a peek.
Yeah, like you want like when you go in for it, your eyes close. Like it's just the natural motion. Like so it would be telling somebody, no, don't close your eyes. Like it feels weird and it takes away from the moment. You have to scream when you're on a roller coaster.
At Disneyland, Universal, and Six Flags out in Southern California.
No screaming.
They're asking that people not scream when you're on a roller coaster, which is like one of the best parts about being on a roller coaster.
But they say that like you can help it. They say that like it's voluntary. They say that like if you're strapped in doing 2 Gs, corkscrewing double loop, that you have the choice to scream or not.
Yeah.
Like, to me, the best thing, if you don't want people screaming, you cannot let them on the ride.
Right.
And if they do scream, you can't chastise them for it. You've literally just launched somebody through hell.
Like you're going to an amusement park, you're not allowed to have any fun?
Right.
Like no singing, no laughing, no shouting.
No barfing,
right?
I imagine.
No barfing?
No barfing.
No, hell
right?
no.
No.
Absolutely not.
No.
And of course, these places are going to be operating at like super limited capacity. I think it's like 35% of what they would typically hold.
Right. I'm shocked that they haven't gotten to the no sweating area. You know what I mean? Like if we're going to go and tell people they can't do something that they can't help doing, why not just tell people not to sweat?
Well, because it's not July yet.
Right?
You wait till then. You wait till July. That's going to be the next rule. No sweating allowed.
The Roz and Mocha Show podcast.
Roz and Mocha's DM Deep Dive. When you have nothing to say, why do you always say it to us?
Welcome back to the Roz and Mocha Show. Deeper Rashad. Hello. How are you?
Hello, I am good. How are you?
Good.
What's in the DMs today, Deepa? Deepa is in charge of our DMs now, and because it's a horror show in there for the most part. And so every day she's going to go through and find some of the best DMs that you guys have sent us. Anywhere that you could possibly send us a DM, they are always open, and hopefully they wind up on this show. And Deepa, what do you have for us today?
Okay, so first question is for Mocha. This is from Aaron. Mocha, what's your feedback on the Calm app? I've been thinking about subscribing to it.
Oh my God. I am addicted. You know, my wife and I actually signed up for their lifetime subscription.
What?
For the Calm app.
There's a lifetime subscription?
Yeah, because we were paying monthly. And then they came out with this promotion where you just pay this one-time fee. I don't even know how much it was, like a couple $100. And it's a lifetime subscription.
Wow.
I use it every single night.
Really?
Before I go to bed. And it puts me into such a relaxing state that I fall asleep before the meditation is done. So I usually do like the 10 to 12 minute ones.
Yeah.
And within the first like 4 minutes, I'm out like a light.
Wow. Is that because you're tired or because it's actually calming?
Both, because I'm exhausted
Yeah.
and because it actually is calming. And there was one that I listened to, big mistake. Don't listen to the Calm app when you're driving home or when you're in the car or like during the day. I was listening to, I want to get the name right, but it was the LeBron James one.
LeBron James?
Yeah. But it was like a motivational, right? It was a motivational storytelling. And there's like 4 chapters. And he's going through like the championship kind of like mentality.
Oh,
and like,
I had to, yeah.
You're right?
I got
but the problem is I'm listening to it and I'm paying attention to everything he's saying and trying to remember all this stuff. But he's talking in like a very calm state.
Oh,
so he's like giving you encouragement and giving you that championship
But he's
mentality.
not pumping you up,
But he's
though.
not hyping me up.
Right.
Right? And it's like I'm driving home during the day listening to these 4 chapters. I'm sleepy as hell.
Do you listen to that stuff, Deepa?
No, I don't.
You
But I
don't.
never understood, like, is it a guided meditation or is it legit stories? Because I've
So
heard
they
like
have everything. They have guided meditations. They have storytelling. They have all sorts of, there's like different versions. There's like music. There are celebrities that do stories. The Matthew McConaughey one.
Yeah.
He has a great short story that has like amazing reviews. And I tried, I think 3 or 4 times to listen because it's like 25 or 45 minutes or something. And during his intro, the intro is like 2 to 3 minutes. Every single time I tried to listen, I fell asleep.
You can't even get to the story
I can't
yet.
even get to the story. I fall asleep when
wow.
McConaughey's talking. And then Idris
Wow.
Elba has one on there. It's incredible. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Listen to you.
Oh,
Oh,
wow.
wow.
Idris
Okay.
Elba.
Why didn't you just say Idris Elba does a thing on there, and then we could have moved on?
I don't think I'll be able to sleep if I hear Idris Elba's voice. Like,
Oh, here. Let's see. This one's called Kingdom of the Sky.
Good evening.
Listen.
I'm Idris Elba,
oh God.
and tonight I'll be taking you on a journey to the Kingdom of Lesotho, the world's highest country. This tale is a celebration of Calm's partnership with Red.
So anyway, it's stuff like that.
Deepa's dad's about to take her phone away again.
Laptop, everything is
Everything gone.
Everything is gone.
Anyway, I would highly recommend the Calm app. It is, I mean, I enjoy it. I love
What's
it
your
so much.
what app do you recommend? Do you have an app that you recommend? What are you onto right now?
Instagram.
Okay, we all recommend Instagram. But what do I not know? What do I not know? Because you guys both do a thing where you have an app on your phone. We found out the other day where you track holidays, right? I don't know. Like I only legitimately just learned how to use the flashlight on my phone, and I was very proud of myself. Don't
Wow,
look at me
good
like
job.
that. Thanks. Okay, never
Do you know
mind.
how to make the brightness, adjust the brightness on your flashlight?
Okay, well here's. Okay, why? Listen.
Sorry.
Okay, I got Maury looking at me like I'm old on one side. I got Deepa looking at me like I'm old on the other side. Okay. Here's my thing: is that I had to fix my phone because I can't have a phone that does that cool thing where it adjusts the lightness during the times of day, so it gets a little bit more dim at night because I can't read my phone when it starts going dim. So I have my brightness cranked 24/7. I don't even lock my phone, Deepa.
What?
No, I don't. My phone just
why?
stays. My phone stays unlocked
He'll
all the
lose it.
time.
If it's got the black screen, he won't know where it is.
all the time. My phone just stays unlocked all the time until I manually lock it.
Okay, but like what happens if you leave your phone somewhere and then someone has access to all your personal information?
Okay, listen, I'm not going to say how.
What kind of photos do you have?
I worry about that. I'll worry about that another day.
Pre-planning is sometimes a good
No,
thing.
but do you know how to do this with the
No.
flashlight?
No.
Where you can adjust the brightness? On your,
No, I don't. No. I've never seen that before on my phone.
It's
before.
there, I promise.
Okay, I trust you. I trust you. Okay, enough of this. Let's move on. So I don't think we have any more time. Oh, look, we're out of time. Deepa, thank you so much for hanging out. It's always awesome to have you. Again, our DMs are always open. If you want to DM us, hit us up anywhere where you can send us a direct message. Deepa's going to go through them, and we'll talk about them on the show.
The Roz and Mocha Show podcast.
Did the time change mess you up?
It hasn't hit me yet. I know it will at some point.
Did me when I got here and the elevator wasn't working.
Oh, well, that has nothing to do with the time change.
Yeah, I know, but I was messed up. Normally, when I have to take the stairs, I hate it on a good day. But having lost the hour, I really hated it
now,
today.
Do you think that if you had that extra hour, you would have been more prepared for taking the stairs?
I'm never really prepared for taking the stairs.
From the ground floor to the second?
And I don't
What's
like
your issue with do you dive in too quick?
No, and I'll tell you, I don't like corporate culture where they shame you into taking stairs.
What do you mean?
Like this company does with the stairs here, where there's all these like words of encouragement.
On the stairs.
Yeah, take the stairs. Take the stairs. I don't like that.
It's not shaming. It's exactly what you said. It's encouraging.
No. I come to work, right?
Yeah.
I come to work. If I need to exercise, I'll do that on my own time, right? Don't shame somebody. Don't shame somebody into taking the stairs when the stairs are right beside the elevator, which I only found out how close they were today because I actually didn't even know where the stairs were in this building. That's
Do you
how
think
often
they
I've
shut
taken
down the
stairs.
elevators here, like saying it's under repair just so that you take the stairs?
I took it personally today. I did, especially after the time
like maybe
change.
they saw you on the security camera pulling into the garage.
Yeah.
And they were like, hey.
Yeah. And you know what's going to be interesting is when they go back and they review that footage because I was the guy at the elevator where I hit the button once.
Yeah.
And then it didn't work. And then I hit it again.
Yeah.
And then I hit it again. And I hit it again. And this is after you texted me first thing in the morning to tell me that the elevator was out of service. I still went over and hit the button 5 times.
Did you not believe me?
No, I did. But I just thought maybe,
What? Between the time that I texted?
Yeah, then I take a chance.
Oh.
Yeah.
The elevator worked fine for me.
Shush your mouth.
No, you took a different elevator though.
I know. I have a special elevator.
Yeah, no. I don't like being shamed into taking the stairs. I have no problem taking the stairs.
But do you read the little messages?
No,
Where it says
I
like this,
don't. No, I
this
don't.
one particular flight of stairs, you burned 1.5 calories.
No, and then they have stick figures all over the walls when you walk up the stairs, right? Like these active sort of stick figures, and it scared the hell out of me because I walk up because I just see a figure out of the corner of my eye. I've never been in the staircase before, and if you grew up on
What do you
horror
mean from the
movies,
corner of your eye? You know those stick figures are so big.
they're huge. I know, so it's a giant figure
Yeah,
that
but
I
they're
see out of the corner.
designed so that you don't miss them.
I know, and I wish they weren't there. Okay, like I don't need to find myself. I don't need to live my best life when I'm walking up a flight of stairs. I don't need the encouraging words written on the treads.
Like you
and
can
I
do
don't.
it.
I don't need that.
What if it was a competition?
No, I would not do it. I
One
would,
step at a time.
No, I would
One
never.
floor at a time.
No, I don't need that. Also, I didn't even walk the whole way. I got off at the main floor and I took the elevator up 1 extra floor.
Oh my God, no, you didn't.
Yes, I did.
The Roz and Mocha Show podcast.
What's up, dog?
So the masks are just a formality at this point, right? Like after watching the Grammys?
Oh, absolutely.
Like,
it's just to
I understand that.
show everyone that we're all doing our part. Blah blah blah.
It's
blah,
appearances.
Blah.
It's appearances,
Completely,
right? It was
yeah.
a complete. It was like pageantry last night.
Oh, of
it was
course.
so interesting to watch because they made such a deal of having everybody separated and those sort of like little things. It looked cool, except for like there was too many shots of Chris Martin sitting alone while everybody else had a buddy with him.
Yeah.
I thought that looked sad, and they sat him right up front all by himself. But the interesting
That's like
thing,
basically shots fired,
right?
Like, what's up, loser?
Yeah, everybody sitting there in their masks, which is good to see, and they all had like cool masks and everything else, and it's like 2 per table and whatever. Until they win an award, and then as soon as their name's called, it's like, oh my God. And they take their mask off, fold it up, leave it on the table, and then they walk on stage with 8 other people from 5 other tables, and they're holding hands and hugging and everything else.
Yeah.
Why wear the mask?
My question also is, are they in between I'm assuming they're not.
Yes.
But are they changing out the microphones
No,
for every
no.
single time
No,
somebody
no,
goes up there?
No. But the mask, it's a formality. I was having a real great time watching everybody who was so far apart, like distant. And like you had Jay-Z and Beyonce sitting there, right? It's like protect Jay-Z and Beyonce at all costs.
Yo, they snuck in too,
right?
huh?
Yeah. Okay. So you got to protect them, right? And then when Meg Thee Stallion wins, it's masks off, tables join, on stage, holding hands, everything else. And what are you doing?
Hug.
Yeah, what are you doing at this? Like, why bother with the seating everybody separately and having everybody wear a mask when you're going to fold it up and leave it on the table and then hug somebody at the table next to you?
Yes, the answer for all people were caught up in the moment.
Yes.
Right.
But here's my thing on this is that I think that the solution has already happened, but they can just never say it happened.
Oh, they all got vaccinated?
I think they're all vaccinated.
Yeah.
100%. I think they're all vaccinated. You don't think Beyonce's vaccinated?
Oh, Beyonce's vaccinated.
Okay, thank you.
Jay-Z's vaccinated.
Jay-Z's vaccinated. Yeah.
That whole
But
room
you
was
can't,
half Illuminati. They're
exactly.
all vaccinated.
Thank you. Yes, except for Chris Martin, who was sitting all by himself.
That's why. Poor guy.
Right? Yeah,
That guy, you mean to tell me he didn't have a +1?
I don't know.
Like, I'm sure he was offered. Nobody said yes to Chris Martin.
There was some great moments last night, though.
I thought it was a great show, to be honest with you.
Apparently you can scissor on television now.
You could what? What part was that?
Did you not watch Meg Thee Stallion and Cardi B?
No.
Oh, yeah. You should.
I went to bed after Bruno Mars and Anderson .Paak did their performance.
No.
I didn't watch the WAP performance.
Yeah, you should watch that.
Yeah?
Yeah, you should. Yeah. Because I saw stuff that I'd never seen on network television before.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah. Like if I was Janet Jackson right now watching that on CBS, I would have thrown a bottle of champagne through my television. No joke.
How dare y'all?
Yeah, no joke. No joke. Because you can do a lot on network
My career
television now.
almost ended.
You can do a lot on network television right now.
Really?
I'll tell you, man. Like, holy.
Going into watching the show last night, though, knowing the lineup of performers, which was amazing. It was probably one of the best lineups in Grammy history.
Yes.
Knowing that it was going to be more of I think you had to go in with the mentality of it being more of a concert as opposed to award show. The awards came secondary.
The Grammys has been that way for a while, though.
But
now.
this year especially, because I watched the first hour and 10 minutes, and they had only given away one award, and it was to Meg Thee Stallion.
Yeah.
Other than that, it was all performances, which was fine. I was okay with.
Blue Ivy won a Grammy. Beyonce broke some records. Taylor Swift broke some records.
Yeah, we got a
Harry
lot to
Styles
cover.
won his first.
So we'll be talking a lot about the Grammys today, for sure.
The Roz and Mocha Show podcast.
Hey, did you see this video of Tiffany Haddish finding out that she won a Grammy?
Oh, no.
Oh, my God. It's so good. So Tiffany Haddish, what you're going to hear is, you have it there. It's Tiffany Haddish Grammy, I think it is. What you're going to hear is Tiffany Haddish is on set of Kids Say the Darndest Things.
Yeah.
She's hosting Kids Say the Darndest Things. So Tiffany Haddish is on set with the kids.
Yeah.
And then you're going to hear a guy's voice. The guy's voice is the director or producer in the control room speaking to Tiffany Haddish through her earpiece.
Gotcha.
So the kids in the room can't hear what the guy is saying. Only Tiffany Haddish can.
Yeah.
So listen to this.
I'm just happy with being nominated personally.
I've been nominated a couple of times.
You say what?
You've been nominated a couple of times.
Yeah, I've been nominated a couple of times for some things.
But I just
and
won
I
a Grammy.
I just what?
You just won a Grammy.
Just love being nominated.
I just won a Grammy?
No.
Are you serious?
I'm not lying. I'm telling you the truth.
Wait. Y'all see this thing in my ear? Y'all see this in my ear?
Tell them all you just won a Grammy. Congratulations. You just won the best comedy album.
Y'all serious?
I'm serious.
Aw.
There's no lie. This is for real.
I really won?
Woo.
Aw, that's real nice.
You know a black woman hasn't won in that category since 1986?
Yes, I learned that from Black History.
Yeah, a black woman hasn't won for best comedy album since Whoopi Goldberg. Can I tell you why I'm crying?
Why?
It's a lot of bumpy roads that you cross, right? And it's a lot of times you feel like, well, am I doing the right thing? Is this good enough? Am I good enough? Am I strong enough to do this job? And then you just have to believe in yourself as much as you can. And against all odds, you just say, you know what? I'm gonna just put my best foot forward and I'm gonna give the world the best that I got, right? Mm-hmm. Anything is possible.
Aww.
Isn't that incredible?
Wait a minute, but she knew she was nominated.
She knew
right?
she was nominated. She didn't know she won, though. They announced her category, whether she won, while she was taping Kids Say the Darndest Things.
What kind of boss she has, though, that makes her work on Grammy night?
Well, no, but she was in the pre-telecast. It was going on all day, right?
Oh,
like, you know how like they do it just like it's days and days
Right.
of Grammys. But I love that she won. And then immediately just realized that she was standing in a room full of kids and just made it about them and turned it into this, like just a fantastic, motivational, inspiring, just wonderful, beautiful moment. But
I'm trying to hold back tears.
I know, bro. It's so incredible.
Oh, that's real nice. I like that.
Yeah. So that's how Tiffany Haddish found out.
The Roz and Mocha Show podcast.
Dad bods are apparently all the rage.
Oh, yeah, you must be happy.
You don't look at me.
Don't look at me.
Please, don't look at you. You have just as much of a dad bod as I do.
I've been working on my body.
Yeah, working on the dad bod.
No.
I'm not saying anything disparaging about a dad bod. I'm quite comfortable with it.
Can I have a dad bod without being a dad?
Of course you can. It's just a bod.
You've been rocking that bod for years.
But can I call it a dad bod?
Yeah, it's the style.
Oh, it's the style.
Yes.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Like you generally, Maury, look like like a Radio Shack model. Right? Which
I don't even know what that
is. It's a compliment.
Which to me, that is what they're talking about, right? Like nobody ripped, is in that sort of world. When they talk dad bods, they're talking that just sort of normal, flat, smooth, maybe a little bit of a gut.
Sure.
That kind of thing.
Flat
right?
and smooth, yes.
Right, that kind of thing. But not only that, they say this, according to their poll. This was on dating.com. They polled their members. And they said 15% of people overall said that they preferred a more chiseled look. 15%. 45 of single people with dad bods are proud enough to brag about their dad bods. That said, 70% of single people have started working out again. But they say the majority of people that they polled, women, prefer dad bods over the chiseled look.
I wonder if everyone being at home and schedules being off and people not necessarily being able to work out as much as they used to in the past, if that played into it, where women are finding the guys, a little bit more attractive now that they're kind of in their natural state.
I think it has to do with dad bods are comfortable.
Like what do you mean comfortable?
No, like they're comfortable. Like you look at it, you're like, you feel.
You look like a pillow? Right?
So comfy.
No, I just mean like.
Are you saying that Catherine doesn't want a man? She wants a duvet?
Yes.
Yes.
You're comfortable.
Damn it, duvet.
Squishy.
Yes.
Squishy and warm.
Right? Yeah. I don't want my wife to look at me like a futon.
Yeah.
Like look at me like a man. Not like college dorm furniture.
The Roz and Mocha Show podcast.
So we got the finale of Bachelor coming up on Monday. And according to TMZ, the cast and crew for the new season of The Bachelorette have shown up to the resort that they're filming at in Albuquerque, New Mexico, to quarantine.
Okay.
To start off their quarantine. According to sources telling TMZ, the only person who is not there is Chris Harrison.
Interesting.
Now, that doesn't mean, in this article, they say, it doesn't mean that Chris Harrison may not show up at a later time or in a couple of days, but I assume they're trying to match everyone up with the same quarantine days so it doesn't delay.
Well, no. Because,
filming, right?
No. There's nothing to worry about here. There's absolutely nothing to worry about here. Crew has to be there weeks before Chris Harrison shows up.
Okay.
Weeks before.
What about the contestants, the folks?
Are they quarantining?
Yeah, it said cast and crew are all there. They've just arrived to start their quarantine. And yesterday, Chris Harrison was photoed still in LA. He was like leaving a golf course or something.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know, but I don't know how it works. But normally, even with cast and crew, Harrison could be quarantining elsewhere.
Sure,
he could have got the shot.
For all we know, yeah.
For all we know. You know
I know.
what
I guess like the U.S. is so far ahead
yeah,
of Canada in administering the vaccines.
I don't know. Maybe he's vaccinated, right?
Yeah.
Like who knows? But I don't think that they're going to make any sort of announcement on Chris Harrison until this is all done.
Until after the final rose, yeah.
Yeah, until it's all done. And even then, I don't know.
Because they're going to start shooting late March.
Yeah.
According to this report.
Yeah. I think that they should let him back.
Yeah.
You know, he said some dumb things, but people say dumb things. And I think that you should, he was wrong. And I think he said he was wrong. Whether it was sincere or not, I mean, he's sort of robotic anyway, so I don't think anything that Chris Harrison says is going to come off as heartfelt, just because that's the kind of showbiz guy he is. You know,
I guess he's just been the face of the Bachelor, the franchise that we've known for years.
It would
right?
be like if Pat Sajak made an apology. You know, like it wouldn't be sincere.
Yeah.
Right? They're just these showbiz guys. But, he said dumb things, and he shouldn't have said it, and he dug his heels in, and I don't know. I think that you should be allowed to be wrong, right, without losing everything. And he was really wrong. Like, don't get me wrong, right? He was really wrong. But I don't know, But then again, you know what? If people aren't going to watch the show because Chris Harrison's on it, then don't have him back.
Yeah.
I think that's I think you have to go with.
But then that's a problem.
As
a show.
I think the whole show's
if everybody's
a problem.
watching simply because of the host who plays like such a minor role in the entire episode, right? Or in the entire series.
Geez, with everything that's gone on this season, I don't know if they can go back and sort of try and recreate that flawless fantasy.
Yeah.
I think that
No, it's a different time, different world.
I think that, the realities of The Bachelor, escape the lab, and we are all now privy to what goes on in there. And it started off small. It started off with the treatment of the women.
Yeah.
It started off depriving them of sleep and pumping them full of alcohol and, making sure that they cry on cue because they're just so messed up mentally throughout the process, right? It started with that, and it was kind of like left a bad feeling in your mouth, but people overlooked that. And then you had this season with Chris Harrison and everything that went down with Matt and Rachel Kirkconnell. And I don't know. I think that it's too blown open. I don't know if people will be able to go back and sort of be able to enjoy The Bachelor for the frivolous fantasy that it is. And if that's the case, you cannot have Chris Harrison back.
And the other half of it, too, is that spoilers. Like, on the daily, you find out what's happening.
Doesn't hurt the ratings, though.
Because people want to see how it gets to that point.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Right? I know they haven't announced already who the next Bachelorette is.
Yeah.
But it's already out there. If you want to go find out who the next Bachelorette is, who's out there in New Mexico quarantining, the information is out there.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's not for me to decide. And I don't know who I mean, it's not the audience. Is it production? I don't know who decides. Like, I don't
guess
know.
It would be ABC, right?
No, but
the network that runs the show.
No, but I mean, deciding based on what? Like, whose opinion matters the most in this decision?
Yeah.
Whether the show is done or not. I don't know. I don't know if you can go back and leave that fantasy, though. I think it's in trouble.
I know that you said that he was seen leaving a golf course, but I just saw a photo of him yesterday leaving Dunkin' Donuts with 3 boxes of donuts.
Well, you go golfing and you reward yourself, right?
Gotta get you some Dunkin'.
This is the Roz and Mocha Show podcast.
So, Caitlin Bristow and Tayshia Adams are hosting The Bachelorette.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about that?
I like the two of them.
Yeah. I like Caitlin Bristow a lot.
Yeah. I think it's going to be a nice switch up for the show. It'll be interesting to see if they use them in any more of a capacity than what they use Chris Harrison.
Because he really doesn't. He did more this season when they were in sort of lockdown in the hotel. They were like doing bits around him where he was riding a bike around and stuff like this. But other than that,
typically he's like
there
as like
he doesn't do a lot,
bridges the gap
right?
between segments, right?
Yeah.
This is your ladies or gentlemen. We're doing the rose ceremony, or welcome to the house.
Right.
Check in with whoever the bachelor bachelorette is.
Yeah, Mocha, ladies, this is the final rose. Mocha, anytime you're ready.
And then he dips, right?
So a lot of people writing on social media. So somebody wrote Caitlin and said, love you, Caitlin, but no, just no. And then she wrote back with, do you though? Somebody else on social said Bachelor ratings are going to be so low with 3 laughing, crying emojis. And then Caitlin wrote, such a supportive female. We love to see it. And then somebody else wrote, horrible to celebrate Chris Harrison being involved in cancel culture. Bachelor Nation is over. And then Caitlin wrote back saying, I'm celebrating a friendship here, to be honest. So in their statement, they said that Chris Harrison will not be hosting this season of The Bachelorette. They go on to say, as we continue the dialogue around achieving greater equity and inclusion within the Bachelor franchise, we are dedicated to improving the BIPOC representation of our crew, including among executive producer ranks. These are important steps in effective fundamental change so that our franchise is a celebration of love that is reflective of the world. And I think that Tayshia actually talked to Chris about taking over for this season, and she said that he was gracious with it. But
so they only said, like in the statement, it only said this season. It didn't say
correct. This was not a firing.
He's no longer with the Bachelor franchise.
Chris has got. What I'm getting is that they're going with he's got a lot of work to do.
Yeah,
and they know what the optics look like if he was to step back in and do this season, which is how much work could you have actually done, right? That's the sort of optics of it. And then there's the fundamental things that actually need to change, which is what they're now committed to doing. And that kind of thing takes time to bring in executive producers and sort of change the way that the show runs. So what can you do up front? Well, you can work the optics angle and, bring in Tayshia and bring in Caitlin Bristow, who are both loved and will probably do an incredible job.
I think they will.
on the show. And it doesn't look so much like a replacement, right? Because I think that you have to also worry about the fans, and you still got to worry about ratings, and you still got to worry about all this stuff. But I think that Tayshia and Caitlin, I'm looking forward to it, because I'm just looking forward to seeing something different, man.
Yeah.
Right?
And I think that's why a lot of people are going to be tuning in to see how different the show is.
Yeah.
And in what capacity they use Tayshia and Caitlin. Right?
I hope they use them more than they do Chris Harrison.
I think that they will.
Like, what's the point?
Well, exactly. What's the point? And I think that's exactly why they're going to use the two of them a hell of a lot more this upcoming season.
Like, the one thing Chris Harrison never did is Chris Harrison never sat around with the ladies getting, crushing bottles of wine. I want to see Caitlin sitting around with the ladies crushing bottles of wine. That's what I want to see.
Yo, what if she ends up falling in love?
Come on. She's got a man. Come on.
But still, you never know in that franchise.
Not going to happen. Not going to happen. How dare you?
The Roz and Mocha Show podcast.
So, Bachelor after the final rose last night. They don't even really need to get into the actual show. It was 2 hours of like, oh my God.
And everybody already knew based on the amount of spoilers that came out.
Yes, and it was irrelevant. The end of the show was irrelevant because we already knew that Matt and Rachel broke up. I guess the only mystery was whether he actually proposed or not. And no, he did not propose, although he did show up with the ring. Poor girl.
Like rub it in her face?
And also, at the time, nobody was mad at Rachel, but it really seemed like they were, because she was you could see her breath, and she had basically open, bare shoulders.
Yeah.
It was cold where they were. Matt, full suit, tie. You might as well be wearing a scarf.
Yeah.
She shows up, goosebumps.
Don't even give her a shawl or anything.
Nothing. But after the final rose, Emmanuel Acho was in charge of taking care of things. And I know he was getting a lot of really great praise on social media, and people were comparing him to Chris Harrison. And the reality is Emmanuel Acho is just better at that job than Chris Harrison is. He's just better at talking to people. He's better at formulating questions. He's better at asking questions. He's more direct. And he had the benefit last night of not having after the final rose be this bloody long clip show where we have to watch their journey to love. And I'll tell you the other thing that Emmanuel Acho, and why it was a brilliant move to have him there, is because he came at it with a level of compassion that I don't think Chris Harrison would have been afforded.
No, because I think Chris Harrison is too formulated with the format of the show and having done it for so long, right?
Meaning, when Rachel walked out, Emmanuel's first question to her was how she was doing.
Hello.
Good to see you.
You too.
So, Rachel, first of all, how are you doing? How are you holding up?
It's a loaded question. It's
It's been a lot.
I don't think that if Chris Harrison, knowing what we know now about Rachel and all the controversy and everything else, I don't think if Rachel came out and Chris Harrison asked her, how are you doing? How are you holding up? As the first question, he would have got murdered for it.
Yeah.
But I think because it was Emmanuel Acho and he came at it with a level of compassion and that sort of setting the tone for the way that the conversation was going to play out, and you understood the level that he wanted to have this conversation on, it was so perfect as far as
but
having
at the same
him be the
time,
choice.
with Chris Harrison, because he's wrapped up in the whole story as well, he couldn't necessarily say, how are you holding up?
No, I'm just sorry. I'm saying without Chris Harrison being in controversy. If it was just Chris Harrison,
if it was just Chris without the controversy,
if it was no controversy around Chris, but just controversy around her, no, because I think that people would have went in on him because you shouldn't be that kind,
right?
And Emmanuel is very kind. And here's a little bit of the conversation that he had with Rachel.
Now, when you look at that photo, what do you see?
This is the antebellum photo.
See someone who was living in this ignorance without even like thinking about who it would be hurting. You know, I never once asked myself at any point, like, what's the tradition behind this? What does this represent? You know, why do we wear those dresses? I'm not going to sit here and say that I didn't know any better, because I could have easily asked myself those questions. No, I never took the time to make that connection, because if I would have taken the time, I easily could have understood what was wrong with it.
You were previously ignorant. Who do you blame for your ignorance? Oof. Was it your upbringing, educationally, familially?
Damn.
Who do you blame for that ignorance?
I don't want to sit here and blame my upbringing or where I grew up, the location of it, being raised in the South. Like, they're just, in my eyes, there's no excuse. Because I will say, I did get a lot of people saying, like, this is normal where I grew up. I don't think that that's what that stood for. I didn't know that, so it can't be racist, because I'm not a racist. And I think that people need to realize that just saying, like, this is normal where I came from, or this is common where I came from, that doesn't make it right, and that doesn't make it okay.
And then he had Matt there and asked Matt if there was any chance of leaving the door open, because clearly they broke up, and he had said as much before she even got out there. But the question was, is there a chance to leave the door open a little bit?
The most disappointing thing for me was having to explain to you why what I saw was problematic. When I'm in a relationship, it means that I'm committed to that person. And commitment for me, when I'm dating someone, is on track to get married. And so when I questioned our relationship, it was on the context of you not fully understanding my blackness and what it means to be a black man in America, and what it would mean for our kids when I saw those things that were floating around the internet. And it broke my heart, because this is the last conversation I thought we'd be having. I had to take a step back for you to put in that work that you outlined that you needed to do. And that's something you got to do on your own.
Ooh.
And that's why we can't be in a relationship.
Oh. I bet they're all relieved that the season is done.
God,
right?
what a mess.
Like, the drama's not over, but at least the season is finally done.
Yeah.
The Roz and Mocha Show podcast.
Bachelor Nation lost their minds last night when they finally got to see the end of the show, when Matt James, I guess, sort of pseudo chose Rachel.
Yeah. What happened, though?
He didn't propose.
Oh.
There was no proposal, but he did pick the ring, which was weird. Right? Like, he did the whole Neil Lane thing where the guy brought the ring over and all this other stuff. And
They probably have it in the contract, though. Like,
yeah,
you got to show that footage,
I guess,
right?
and then he was there trying to give advice to him too, right?
Who, Neil?
Yeah.
Shut up, man. Show me the rings.
He was acting like his father.
Yeah, nah.
But it was announced last night who would be the new Bachelorette, and spoiler alert, huge twists.
So please welcome Michelle and Katie.
Hi.
So both Michelle and Katie walk out and sit on the couch
Hello.
together.
Oh.
Nice to see you. Nice to see you.
Okay. And we're like wondering, which one's it going to be? Who's it going to be?
Yeah,
What's going on
So
here?
this is obviously a big decision. Both of you incredibly deserving, incredible women.
But who's going to
But there's no use in drawing it out any longer because a decision has been made. Should we tell Bachelor Nation?
Yes.
We're the Bachelorette.
That's right. 2 separate seasons, 2 separate women, 2 separate journeys.
Both
hopefully
Michelle
ending up
and
in 2 separate
Katie.
engagements. Congratulations, ladies.
Both Michelle and Katie will be upcoming bachelorettes.
But let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Because at home, we thought it would have been super cool if they were both on the exact same season and handing out roses
Did
to
they not
and
try
fighting
that?
over the guys.
They did try that.
Yeah.
They absolutely did.
And it was a mess.
Sort of, right?
And it
they
was a
did
mess.
try that, and it was awful because it was deemed as being unbearably cruel.
In what way?
In the way that they had to compete against each other.
But isn't that great television?
No, it actually wasn't. It actually wasn't. What was it, Shem?
So they didn't do a full season of it. What it was 2 contestants. I actually believe Caitlyn was
Caitlyn Bristow.
Caitlyn Bristow,
That's
and
right.
another girl was, I forget the other girl's name at the moment, but they had like the 2 of them start the season, and
Yes.
and the guys chose
Right.
who they wanted.
But
Caitlyn got
I'm
to
talking
be-
about can you imagine 2 women were up there, they have their pile of roses, but they both like the same guy, and then they have to decide who gets which
No,
one's rose.
I don't like that at all.
No, it's cruel. No,
Yeah,
that's
very
too
mean.
messy. Like that. You
A
want
long season.
Your solution after everything that went down this season is to make The Bachelor more messy?
But it's great TV.
No,
Put that on your
thank
LinkedIn
you.
profile.
The Roz and Mocha Show podcast.
Oscar nominations come out today.
Oh, do they really?
Yep.
Already?
Yep. I think they start at like 8:19 or something like that this morning.
You can kind of get a sense of what's going to get nominated based on what happened with the Golden Globes, right?
No, I don't even know if you can. I think that the only thing that you can say safely is that the streamers are going to be the big winners, right? Just because anything there was nothing theatrical this year, so it was all streaming services.
Yeah.
But I think that Frances McDormand movie everybody's loving. What's that called? The Wanderer. What's it called? Where she lives in a van. That movie. Which
Van Lady.
I don't even think it's available to watch yet. What's it called?
Van Life?
Van Life? No, it's not Van. No. Nomadland.
Oh.
yeah. Van Girl. Yeah, I don't know. No, Nomadland, because that's what won the Golden Globe. So I think that if there's any one sort of lock, it'll be that, and most likely Borat.
Oh yeah, I guess.
We'll get a nomination.
What about that Minari movie that everyone was freaking out
Minari,
over?
most likely. Rainey's Black Bottom, most likely.
So everything at the Golden Globes.
Well, yeah, because it's there's nothing else, right? Like that's the thing. But we know that the Golden Globes were so weird with what they chose to and what they didn't, because they left a lot of things off their list, which
Right.
may wind up showing up on the Academy Awards list. But the Razzie Award nominations came out yesterday.
Oh, sick. On Grammy Day?
I know, it's weird, right?
Trying to steal thunder or what?
Isn't that weird? Robert Downey Jr. and Dr. Dolittle picked up a lot of awards.
Oh, no.
Did you see Dolittle?
No.
That was awful.
Yeah, I heard.
It's just not.
I heard.
It's just not good. But I was really pissed about one of the movies that they chose to focus in on the Razzie Awards, which was on Netflix. The movie called The Wrong Missy with David Spade.
Oh my God, I love that movie.
I love that movie.
Wait, that got nominated?
Yes,
Nominated or
yes.
given an award?
Nominated.
In what category?
Yes.
Yeah, that movie's so
all
funny.
of the categories.
No.
All of the
A clean
categories.
sweep in nominations? Every
Yes,
single
actor,
category?
actress, duo, and film.
Oh, that hurts.
Right?
That hurts. You know what, though?
I
I guess
know.
if you're going to get nominated for actor and actress, I would
Right.
assume you're going to get nominated for duo as well.
Sure. Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Like, you
Yes.
have to. There's no way you can get nominated for duo and not get actor and actress.
So, worst picture, 365 days. I don't know what that is.
Never heard of
Absolute Proof, no idea. Doolittle, Fantasy Island. Did you watch Fantasy Island? That's
No, I
terrible.
didn't
Oh,
even
it's
know that
terrible.
came out.
Oh my God, it was so bad.
Was it really?
And Music, the Sia movie.
The what?
The Sia movie. The one
Didn't
that, the
that
one
get
that
like a lot of backlash?
It did because she cast Maddie Ziegler as somebody who is autistic,
Yeah.
and she got a lot of backlash for that. I may be the only person in the world who's willing to say that I actually didn't mind music.
Oh, okay.
because
not watch on.
it's a tough thing when and don't get me wrong, I am all for the movement of representation, especially when it comes to people who have to fight for roles who are autistic and everything else. I'm very, very much behind that. However, I don't know what to do with performances then that have been praised where somebody has done an incredible job. Like if the problem is Maddie Ziegler playing an autistic role, which again, not my decision, then what do we do with Dustin Hoffman in Rain Man?
Sure.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there was a point where these things were celebrated, and maybe it was wrong. Maybe it's always been wrong to allow somebody to even Forrest Gump.
No, what was the other one with Sean Penn? When he was fighting for
what is it?
Legal custody of his kid.
What is it? I Am Sam.
I Am Sam. Yeah.
And also
that was a beautiful movie.
And also, I'll throw in What's Eating Gilbert Grape because Leonardo DiCaprio in that movie. First of all, it was a beautiful performance, right? So I don't know. So I can sort of see the heart behind the intent when it comes to a movie like music and even going with casting somebody like Maddie Ziegler in it. But it's difficult. Now, is it Razzie worthy? There's a bunch of storylines in music that are just like awful, but the music's good. And it's crazy because Sia worked on this movie forever. It was originally supposed to be Shia LaBeouf that was in the movie, not Kate Hudson.
Yeah.
And then Sia fired Shia LaBeouf. But the weird thing was they brought in Kate Hudson, and I don't even think they changed the script. So she just walked in and just did the same script that Shia LaBeouf was supposed to do.
Stuff?
Yeah, because there's a weird dynamic between Kate Hudson and the gay neighbor. And it's almost like a pseudo love story, and you're kind of watching it, going, "This doesn't really make sense to me." But then when you find out that it was supposed to be Shia LaBeouf, it all made sense.
Yeah.
Right. So like the movie's a bit of a mess, but the music in it and the sort of dancing numbers and Maddie Ziegler when she's doing her thing, she's so incredible to watch. Right. Like when she's performing, when she's doing the singing and the dancing, you just can't take your eyes off her. So I didn't hate it as much as most people hated it, but anyway, it's going to clean up at the Razzies this year.
The Roz and Mocha Show podcast.
Question for you, which is very apropos for today. When do you officially switch into weekend mode?
Oh, as soon as I'm done work on Friday.
So you're as soon as you're done work on Friday.
Hell yeah.
Okay, but it's different though because we work weird hours, right?
Yeah.
So like we'll finish it.
But
like
let's say if I'm
10, 11 o'clock or
but if
whatever.
If you work, let's say 9 to 5,
Yes,
right?
yes.
Let's go with majority. As soon as I'm done at, let's say, 5 o'clock,
yeah,
and I shut down my laptop, baby, I'm ready for the weekend.
Really? When's the last time you worked a 9 to 5?
Forever.
Okay, because you're wrong.
I'm wrong about the last time I worked?
No, you're wrong about when people switch into weekend mode.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because if you haven't been in an office where people are working 9 to 5, weekend mode starts much earlier than 5. Okay. So, Maury, when would you switch into weekend mode?
Well, I have a Friday tradition. I always get a cappuccino after the show.
Okay.
That's when I'm in weekend mode.
That's when you're in weekend mode. So assuming that people are working a straight up 9 to 5, they say the majority of people who they polled said that they switch into weekend mode at 2:52 p.m.
Oh, yeah?
Yes.
But what's the reasoning behind that? Because you still have like an hour left to work.
You don't. No, when you're no. After
lunch,
3 to 5 on a Friday, nothing is getting done unless your deadline is end of day. Yeah. People switch into weekend
Which is,
mode.
in my opinion, is a real jerk move to have a deadline end of day Friday.
Oh, it happens all the time.
No, that's a jerk move.
Yes. Yeah. So 2:52 Friday afternoons is when they say weekend mode happens.
But you're still at work, right?
You are still.
You mentally checked out.
But people leave early.
You can do a little bit of online shopping.
Please, thank you. That's exactly. People sitting on each other's desks, just like sitting there hanging out.
What do you have planned for the weekend?
What do you have planned for the weekend? All this.
Do people still? Oh my! Photocopying.
Somebody all of a sudden is listening to music without their headphones on. You know what I mean? So like their office mates can hear it too.
What about do people dress down Friday?
Yeah.
Oh, of course, casual Fridays.
Does that doesn't exist anymore?
Of course it does.
No,
well, not during the pandemic, but
no, it doesn't. People don't do casual Fridays anymore.
My dad.
No.
Workplaces now it's casual. Every day is casual.
Casual.
Yeah.
Everything is casual.
No, when you wear a suit Monday to Thursday.
Please. Yeah. No. So 2:52 is what they say. They also say 1 in 6 people they don't truly feel that it's the weekend until they have that first drink in their hand.
Oh, hell yeah! Hell yeah!
The Roz and Mocha Show podcast.
Hello, Roz and Mocha. Who's this?
Hey, guys. It's Emreet. I talked to you guys a couple of years ago.
Oh, what's up, Emreet?
I don't know if you remember. I was moving to the States with my husband. He was a resident.
Oh, yeah, I do. I actually remember that. How's everything going?
It's going well. I said I will call back, but it was really hard to get through, and I can't get the radio station here, so I'm just stuck to the podcast, basically.
Where in the States are you again?
So I didn't know at the time, but we found out a couple of months before we had to move that we moved to Cincinnati.
Oh, nice.
Ohio.
And how is it over there?
It's all right. Like, it was good, to be honest, and then there was COVID, so it made it really hard. Couldn't come back quite as much or at all, but it's all right. It's better than I thought.
The only thing I know Cincinnati being famous for, well, Cincinnati Reds, baseball team, and then 98 Degrees, the boy band, they're from there.
Also WKRP in Cincinnati.
Oh, I never watched that.
Oh, it's a very famous television show.
Oh.
I don't want to tell you, is that like from the 60s?
Shut up. Shut up. Stop it.
So what's going on? What can we do for you today?
I shouldn't have even said that.
I was like,
I
what is
thought
that?
about not saying it, and then, never mind.
So what's up?
Nothing. I just want to call and say what's up. I said I would give you guys an update, and it's been good here, but definitely miss home, especially with the COVID. I'm hoping you guys open your borders, but I keep hearing you guys keep them shut.
Yeah.
It hurts every time you say that, you guys.
Well, I'll keep getting people vaccinated over there.
We're trying, I think.
Don't play this like this is a U.S. problem, Mocha. This is now a Canada problem.
I know. Yo,
we're not doing too good up here.
Here's my question, right?
Yeah.
So all over the news, they're always like flexing, oh, we're getting this vaccines and this many vaccines and this many. But like, you're not giving the vaccines to the people. We're just hoarding at this point.
Yeah,
and I know there's a
yet.
big process, but still, stop flexing about how much vaccines we have in Canada without administering to the people.
I know.
Anyway, stay on that side of the border, Emery.
It's slow going here.
You're forgetting what Cincinnati.
Crazy. You're forgetting what?
You're forgetting what Cincinnati's really famous for.
Which is what?
Cornholing.
Cornholing?
I don't know what that is.
No, it's the home of cornholing.
What do you mean cornholing?
The game where
it's not called cornholing. It's called cornhole.
No, but when you perform the
no,
act.
it's not. You don't. Nobody says we're going to go cornholing. Nobody says that. There's no. And also, you don't perform an act. You play the game. Okay. Nobody's performing the act of cornholing when they're
weird.
actually playing cornhole.
It sounds gross.
Don't get me wrong. I love cornhole.
Yeah.
Right? I'm very good at cornhole.
What's that game again?
Cornhole is...
It's the bean bags into the hole.
Yeah, beanbag. You have two big rectangles.
Oh, hold on. We have one of those at home.
And they have a ramp on it, right? And you throw bean bags into it.
I think we just called it the beanbag game.
No,
or
it's actually called cornhole.
Oh, that sounds gross.
Right, so Cincinnati's the home of cornhole.
No, no, it's not cornholing. Don't let him say that. No, cornhole, yes. Cornholing, no. Yeah, and I'm the old guy, right? I'm the old guy. Maury comes in here to talk about cornholing.
Emery, thank you very much for reaching out and for giving us an update and for continuously listening to the Roz and Mocha Show, even though you're in Cincinnati.
Of course.
I don't know if we asked you this like a few years ago when we talked to you last time, but between Roz and Mocha, who's your favorite?
You never asked me. Mocha, you're my favorite.
Yeah.
See, there you go. By the way, I beat your ass at cornhole, Maury.
Thanks, Emery.
Bye, guys.
The Roz and Mocha Show podcast.
It's finally here, y'all.
Is it worth trying to avoid Justice League spoilers? Like, is it like it's a movie I've already seen, but I'm just curious as to how different it is. I imagine incredibly different.
Yeah. I mean, when you have a 4-hour movie,
it
has to be quite different from the 2-hour version, which I watched for the very first time last weekend. So it's still fresh in my mind.
Okay.
I had avoided the movie when it first came out because it got such terrible reviews from people. So I was like, it's not worth my time.
Right.
But I'm interested in the Snyder Cut version, which is 4 hours long, out now. And I wanted to have the movie as fresh in my mind as possible.
Not many of the big stars did a whole lot of promotion for it, but Kevin Smith was doing interviews on a sort of, I guess, virtual red carpet fan experience with Zack Snyder. And Zack has really been carrying the entire load of promoting this. He's done a ton of promotion for the film. And if you're interested in what Zack Snyder had to say, this is what went down with him and Kevin Smith.
Well, you know, when we did Man of Steel, in a world with just Batman, it's hard to have Superman as well.
Like that day, if you decide like we should add Superman to this world, it'd be kind of tough because you'd be like, well, we kind of haven't had him before, and this is a deal. But in a world with Superman, Batman might be out there somewhere in an alley beating up some dude. You know, we always had that eye to go to, you know, Justice League was that going to be out there.
Right.
And so the idea of it being 4 hours and being sort of what we have now, I mean, that sort of evolved from after BVS, and we sort of like really seeded the world. And now it was time to meet everybody. That's how it just naturally happened. If you really take the time with all of them, you end up with 4 hours. You know? That's kind of, it wasn't we didn't go like, we're really going to blow it out with 4 hours. I knew it was going to be a long movie to introduce them correctly.
So a couple of reaction tweets from people who waited for it to be released on HBO Max, watched it. Currently watching Zack Snyder's Justice League. I'm barely 45 minutes deep, and it's already so superior to the theatrical Whedon cut. It's damn near depressing. Honestly, all of these Justice League dudes dunking on Joss Whedon makes me want to watch the Snyder cut so I too can dunk on Joss Whedon.
So one of the big things that came out of the Justice League years later was Ray Fisher, who talked about the mistreatment and abuse that he suffered at the hands of Joss Whedon. And Zack Snyder made sure to allow Ray to see the movie before anyone else did. And this was a couple of nights ago. So if you're interested in what Ray Fisher himself
And Ray Fisher played Cyborg in the movie.
Yeah. So if you're, this is what, this was Ray Fisher's, he had literally just walked out of whatever room he was in watching Justice League and walking through like a parking lot, like back to his car, and recorded his initial reaction. And so if you're curious, this is what Ray Fisher thinks of the Snyder Cut.
Just got finished watching that Zack Snyder's Justice League. Yo, when I tell you this movie is not, it's not even a meal. This movie is not a meal. It is a whole, it's a feast. Wow. It's like a 7-day feast that just does not end. I'm sitting in here in my hotel room in the dark watching this thing. And I'm like, oh, please don't stop. Please don't end. Please don't end. And I look down and I still got another hour and a half of the movie left.
Yo, so you got the cosign from Cyborg himself.
Yeah, so
Justice League, the Snyder Cut, the 4-hour version is available right now.
The Roz and Mocha Show podcast.
Our guy Drake racking up more wins, baby. I'm so happy because I'm such a Drake fan. You wondered who was going to be the person to take Olivia Rodrigo out of the number one spot that she's held on Billboard for the past 7 weeks with Driver's License. Who was going to be the artist or group? And not only did Drake come through and take the number one spot, but he also took number 2 and 3. After dropping Scary Hours 2, the EP, a couple weeks ago, every single one of those songs on that album started to trend rather quickly and start to chart everywhere. Of course, there's a single, What's Next?
I'm making a change today. The liquor been taking the pain away. I heard you was giving your chain away. That's kind of like giving your fame away. What's wrong with you? I sit in a box where the owners do.
In at number 2 on Billboard. So What's Next is number 1. In at number 2 is track 2 on that album, Wants and Needs.
Leave me out the comments. Leave me out the nonsense. Speaking out of context. People need some content. Trying to keep up. This not a contest. Whipping bands concept. Heaven sent, God sent. At least that's what my mom said.
And then in at number 3 is the third song on that EP. Track features Rick Ross called Lemon Pepper Freestyle. This one's actually my favorite out of the 3. So Drake now becomes the third artist overall to take the top 3 spots on Billboard's Hot 100. Ariana Grande and the Beatles have done it before, but Drake is the first artist to debut at spots number 1, 2, and 3.
That's crazy.
And to celebrate the win, Drake was all over IG last night.
Of course.
And for some reason, was hanging out with Bow Wow, of all people.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know where they were.
Yeah.
They never said if he
masks
was...
or no masks?
No masks.
No masks.
Of course not masks. I don't know if he was like in Houston where Bow Wow is. I think Bow Wow owns a home in LA, so they could have been hanging out in LA if Drake still owns property out there. I don't know if they would be like if Bow Wow was in Toronto hanging out at Drake's place because there was footage.
Maybe he's quarantining at the embassy.
Houston.
Huh?
Houston.
Oh, they were in Houston.
Yeah.
Okay, there you go. And like Drake's boys were all, celebrating with Drake. They had balloons, like 1, 2, 3 balloons.
Yeah.
They had a big cake for him. They had champagne. But this is Drake on IG stories with Bow Wow. And even still, Bow Wow being the biggest joke, everyone's still going in and laughing at Bow Wow for making an appearance in Drake's IG stories.
I didn't know how else to bring in. I didn't know how else to bring in 1, 2, 3. I had to link with Wizzo. Man, you know what we do. Come on, man. We do it. I want to call into your local station.
So just acting like fools on IG.
That's where we're going with this. I want to thank you, man. I just want to thank y'all. 1, 2, 3. Brody, man, congratulations. You know in the cut with Wizzo, man. Yeah, it's situation. Yeah, no, I had to link with Wizzo. Everybody wants to have drinks and everybody wants to celebrate and turn up. And, I just had to see Wizzo. I had to see Wizzo in person. If it wasn't for you, there wouldn't be. That's why I'm you know the rest. That's why I'm gonna rock with y'all forevermore. I appreciate y'all.
So there
Who's
you
he
go.
talking about?
He's talking about Bow Wow. He's calling him Wizzle.
Oh.
Like Bow Wizzle.
Oh.
Come on, man. Get with the times.
Oh, God, please.
So, again, Drake debuting at numbers 1, 2, and 3
it's crazy.
on the Billboard Hot 100.
The Roz and Mocha Show podcast.
You see that Matthew McConaughey launched his YouTube channel?
Oh, my God. Did he really? Yo, I'm going
Yeah.
to subscribe right now.
Yeah.
Hit subscribe. All right.
Hey, everybody.
You know, everybody was clowning
So many
on
of you have
his...
been asking, so I thought I would start it.
Just going through the comments here. So many people were like clowning on the Doritos commercial, the Super Bowl commercial with flat Matthew McConaughey.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I love that commercial.
Yeah,
now
it was
so
funny. It was
much.
funny. But you got to hear this. Matthew McConaughey's YouTube channel, like his first video, is almost too Matthew McConaughey. If
Is
that
it really?
if that makes any sense, right?
Maury, get off that file for me, please.
It's almost like it's how Matthew McConaughey can like. I was going to say nobody does Matthew McConaughey better than Matthew McConaughey, but this is almost too Matthew McConaughey.
All right. The first 3 words this young man ever said on film. Yes, McConaughey here, and I want to welcome you to my YouTube channel. It's a destination where I'm going to share who I am, who I'm not, what I believe in, what I don't, what I'm doing, what I'm not doing, along with some approaches to life that I've found useful and constructive along the way. Prescriptions in the art of living that have helped me navigate this rodeo we all live in. And even a bunch of bumper stickers that I've seen, heard, gathered, and stolen along the way over my last 51 years here. Hopefully it's going to be all killer, no filler, with some raps and rhymes that can help you get back on time, put a little reason to your rhyme, some food for thought, with a sip of wine. Bring your funny bone. Don't be afraid to bend a knee. And join me in the chase to be more me. With your chase to be more you. Because what else are we really here to do?
Yo, subscribe. You know what? And I don't know if it's because of the book Green Lights and because you and I had the opportunity to speak to him and I read a little bit of the book.
Yeah.
But in the past like 6-7 months, I've really grown to like McConaughey a lot more.
Yeah. Yeah.
And just seeing him on the press tour and like
yeah,
all the other stories that he's telling and just his conversation. He's becoming one of my favorites.
It's interesting. We talked about this before when Emmanuel Acho was announced to be the host of After the Final Rose last night.
Yeah.
one of the things that you should get a chance if you were watching Emmanuel last night and you realize that he's just really good at what he does, and you're also a fan of Matthew McConaughey, go to Emmanuel's YouTube channel, which is Uncomfortable Conversations with a Black Man, and his interview with Matthew McConaughey is really good. I mean, it's unfortunately it's not that uncomfortable. It's actually quite comfortable.
Yeah.
But it's a really, really interesting conversation, and his YouTube channel is really great. And that conversation in particular was really, really awesome. But yeah, so there you go. So Matthew McConaughey, a YouTuber now.
I love it. He's already got 145,000 subscribers.
Yeah.
That video right there currently has 247,000 views of Matthew McConaughey starting out his YouTube channel, his very first video, by saying this.
All right.
Yes.
The Roz and Mocha Show podcast.
Hey, I know you're a big fan of the Johnson. No. Dwayne The Rock. I know you're a big fan of the Johnson. No, you're a big
like the biggest fan.
Big fan of hoorah, Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
I watched Young Rock again last night.
Yeah,
New
how
episode.
was it?
It was good.
I watched 3 episodes.
Or I guess it was either third or no, I guess it was
fourth
be
or
episode
fifth,
4.
right?
Yeah, they introduced the spoiler alert, I should say.
Yeah.
If you're a fan, is spoiling the Young Rock like?
Can you spoil something that's based on a true story? That's weird. That's a weird rule to follow. But go ahead.
Because one of the big questions about Young Rock, was whether or not at some point in the series they were going to show The Rock's most iconic look,
right?
Which is the black turtleneck, silver chain around the neck, fanny pack,
mom
blue
jeans. Yes,
and elbow on a tissue.
Right.
They introduced that look in last night's episode.
Oh, they did, huh?
Tissue and everything.
Really?
Yeah.
Why was the tissue there? That seems weird. Teenage boys, right?
So, spoiler alert.
Yeah.
I don't want to.
Okay.
I don't want to say.
Okay, never mind.
But they cleverly pieced it all together for the episode last night.
They do. Okay, I gotcha. But I guess he's super training for Black Adam.
Yeah, because they start filming, I think, at the end of the month.
Yeah,
right?
very soon. And The Rock released another one of these videos where he talks about his conditioning and diet and what he eats. And
this guy's an animal.
An absolute animal. And this is just his breakfast.
Yeah.
We start shooting in a little less than a month, Black Adam. So the diet is really dialing in. So what we have here is we have a combination of whole eggs and egg whites. We have beef tenderloin that I just cooked up myself. True story. I like to announce that like I did something big. Hey, I cooked up steak. And these are Ezekiel English muffins that are gluten-free with a little bit of Smart Balanced butter on both. And what I also like to do, I add some cinnamon on both, as you guys can see. And I also add some liquid stevia and my greens drinking here, powdered greens. And of course, as always, I have my morning Zoa. This one is the sugar-free wild orange.
This is an energy drink.
Oh, is that what that is?
More carbohydrates. I come over here with the oatmeal and blueberries. Blueberries are great antioxidant. They're also good for the brain. And they say the smarter you are, the bigger your brain is. So you already know my brain must be.
But the shocking thing is normally when The Rock has done these food things in the past, he's posted pictures of cheat day and in front of him he's got 46 pancakes stacked up and whatnot, right? This is actually a very modest sized breakfast. Like this is the size of like omelet that you would eat.
Dude.
It's very modest.
So I saw this video, right?
Yeah.
And my thinking is that is breakfast 1 of 2.
Right. This is what I eat at 7:15, not what I eat at 7:45.
Right.
Yes.
Like, because knowing The
agree.
Rock, he trains like 2-3 times a day.
Yeah.
Right? At least twice a day. I know he does cardio super, super early.
Right.
And then he does weights later in the day, or sometimes he flips it around. Right?
Yes.
So I feel like that breakfast was him not necessarily
I don't know. It looks very tiny. Like I was looking at this going, oh my God,
Not giving us the full
I love
story.
watching these rock food videos, right? And it was it's very modest, very modest. But I don't know how I feel about mixing the meat with sweet though. I don't know.
What do you mean?
I don't know how I feel about a tenderloin steak and then an English muffin with cinnamon on it on the side. That's, to me, no.
Yeah, I would.
It's not.
For me, if that were my plate, I would just have regular butter on the English muffin.
It's just cinnamon with steak, the sweet with the meat. It's not, I don't know. I can never get into that. That's like the breakfast equivalent of like pineapple on pizza, right?
Bleh.
Like a bleh, which The Rock would have 12 of.
This is the Roz and Mocha Show podcast.
Hello?
Hey, it's Roz and Mocha.
Hey!
What's going on? We just want to welcome you back to real life, to the real world.
Thank you.
What's your name?
Nice to be back. My name's Lindsay. You actually called me like 2 weeks ago on my birthday.
Oh, nice. Well, look at that. We're calling you again. Lindsay texted us, Roz, and said today is her first day driving into the office after being on mat leave.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So congratulations. How's the baby? Even though I'm sure we asked you that 2 weeks ago when we called you for your birthday.
Yeah, no, he's great. He's
Yeah.
great. He's staying at home with his nana, so.
No.
Oh, wait. Is this your kid's name? Are you the one whose kid's name is Hudson?
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
How do
I
you
remember that.
Don't, you're such a show off.
What?
Stop
I
it.
remember we talked to you.
I do not.
So, Lindsay,
So special. Thanks, Roz.
what are you looking forward to the most? Are you nervous about going back to work after being on mat leave?
Not like nervous, like COVID related. Not really. I trust my coworkers that they're doing all the things that they need to do, going into stores, wearing their masks, all the such.
Yeah.
And I'm not really nervous about anything. I look forward to the fact that I can blare my radio on my way to work, on my way home.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to seeing other people and maybe talking about other non-baby related things.
Right. Just like be like a functioning adult with other adults for a little while.
Right. Yeah. Going back to society and,
Are you happy to go back to work, other than the fact that you get to have a little bit of the other part of you that gets to thrive, which is, going back to work and being productive and all that other stuff? I was just reading a story where they said that in New York, that I think they said that 22% of employers are going to have people come back full time by September.
Oh, really?
Meaning they're already working on a hybrid model for so many companies. Like the idea of everybody going back to work is not going to happen. And that
because
everything
people
is
have figured it out, right?
everything is permanently changed.
Yeah.
That this is not like when we're all vaccinated and we all get to go back to work, that everything is going to go back to normal. And that is the vast majority of companies are going to adopt some sort of, office/home hybrid model.
Yeah, absolutely.
I hope so. I work very far from the office, so I'm good to work like 2 days from home, 3 days from the office, or vice versa.
Well, thank you very much, Lindsay, for your text. Enjoy your first day back at work after being on mat leave for so long.
Thank you so much. Thanks for calling.
You're the
Have
best.
a great
Thank
day.
you.
Much love to you.
Thank you. You too. Bye.
The Roz and Mocha Show podcast. Roz and Mocha's Fix My Life.
What advice can you guys give me?
Okay, so my question is,
got a problem you can't fix?
Roz and Mocha got you.
Yo, Declan, what's up, dude? It's Roz and Mocha.
Hey, how are you guys?
Good, man. How are you?
Can't complain.
Yeah, you sound stressed. What's going on?
I don't want my dad's girlfriend around my new baby.
Declan, you wrote us this, Roz and Mocha Fix My Life. Your wife is 7 months pregnant. The problem is that your dad had an affair, you say, and ran off with the secretary. Classic story. You've maintained a relationship with your dad when he comes over to the house. The problem is that this is his first grandchild, and he's already starting to talk about wanting to help out with the baby, which is great, but you don't want to leave the baby, quote, with her, a stranger, but also you're not interested in getting to know her. You ask, are you being too stubborn, and can we demand that he not introduce our baby to her?
Wow. How long ago did you guys all find out, or has it been public that your dad is now with somebody else?
It's been about just over a year, I'd say.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you're protective of your ma, huh?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah,
For
I
sure.
know.
You gotta be.
I know. I get
Yeah,
that.
she was caught off guard, and I'm the oldest, so kind of landed on me, right?
Yeah, God, I get that. But man, when you do when you do this, and maybe your dad's relationship with the secretary doesn't work out. Maybe they break up and everything else. But I think that when you're in a position when you are the kid, you start thinking that you can make decisions that may somehow either destroy the bad decisions that your father made, or maybe get your parents back together, or you are somehow protecting your mother because you think it's disrespectful for you to even allow somebody new to even step in as a position and do anything that a grandparent would, because it's completely disrespectful to your mom. Like, I get all that, but let's say this goes on for years. The only relationship at that point that you are destroying, that you are doing permanent damage to, is the relationship between your kid and his grandfather.
Yeah, that's a good point. So, I don't know. Do you guys think it's weird? Like, do I need to get to know her first in order to do that? Or do you think I can just kind of, would you guys find it weird leaving your kid with someone you didn't know that well?
Well, I mean, you're leaving your kid with their grandfather. So you know your grandfather, or sorry, you know your dad. You know, you know that your dad's not going to let anything happen to your child, right? So you're safe there.
Do you trust your dad?
I do.
Okay, so he's not with somebody who's going to be neglectful or whatever towards your
No, I wouldn't
kid.
imagine so.
Okay. So, and my other question is, have you ever been in a relationship when you were younger, or any of your siblings, that your parents didn't approve of?
Yep.
And what did they do?
They sucked it up and talked about it when she left.
And did they refuse to have her over?
Nope.
Did they refuse to let you see her?
They did not.
Did they trust your judgment?
Mostly, yeah.
And realize that you're growing and you're going to be an adult and you're going to figure things out on your own?
Yeah.
And that they raised a good kid and everything's fine?
Yep.
Yeah, that's your dad.
Oh, all right. That's a good point.
You know what I mean? You're not, you want to fight for your mom. I get it, man. I get it. You want to fight for your mom. You want to punish your dad. And this is going to hurt. And it's one way to sort of hurt your dad and teach him a lesson that he really hurt the family. But in the long run, I'm not saying that, when your kid is a newborn and they don't know any different. But if your dad's with the secretary when your kid is like 6, 7, 8 years old and you're still pulling this, the only relationship you're hurting is your kid's relationship with his grandfather.
That makes sense. Yeah, that's not something I want to do. So.
And then what are you going to do when your kid, as your son or daughter gets older, start asking you, like, why can't I see my grandpa? Right? Or why can't we go hang out with him? Or why can't he come over and hang out with us? Or why don't I know anything about him? Right?
No, that makes a lot of sense.
Then you're in a situation where you're like, well, because he ran off with the secretary. And then the kid's like, who, Joanne? She's hysterical. And you're like, don't laugh at her jokes. Right? Like, how is this going to play out? You know what I mean? Like, where does this go after this? Understand you're hurting, everything, all of this stuff. But you don't have to love her. But I think that you're an adult, okay? And I think that the thing that you may have to get over is your dad is just looking for happiness. He may have gone about it in a really, really terrible way that really destroyed a family and crushed your mother. But your dad isn't looking to get you a new mom. You're grown, right? That's not what this is about for him. It's not what it is for him. He's not looking for a new mom for his kids. He fell in love and he's trying to be happy.
And now he's excited to be a grandpa.
Yeah.
Let him be a grandpa. We're not saying you got to be friends with Joanne,
no.
if that's even her name.
No.
Right? But don't deny your dad the enjoyment of being a grandfather and all that comes with it.
But you can have that you can have that conversation with him. You can say, hey, listen, man, I want you to be a grandfather, but I'm going to tell you right now, everything that went down with you and mom and the secretary and everything else, it breaks my heart a little bit, the idea that she's going to be stepping into some role and doing things with him that's mom's job to do. That I really want mom to do. There's certain things that it really breaks my heart that our kid's going to be in situations where Joanne is going to be doing things that, that mom would want to do first with him and want to be there for. And that's why this is so difficult for me. So if you could just keep that in mind.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Does that help, Declan?
It helps a lot.
Okay,
I appreciate it, guys.
Yeah, you got it, man.
Take care, and congratulations on the baby.
Thank you very much.
Roz and Mocha's Fix My Life
on Kiss.
Hello.
Hi, Kimberly. It's Roz and Mocha. Happy belated birthday.
Hi, thank you.
I know we're like a week late. It's only because your daughter, Adriana, reached out to us a week later.
Not our fault.
Well, thank you very much.
We understand that you are a big fan of the Roz and Mocha Show, and that apparently, Kimberly, you also went to school with Roz.
What?
I've known Roz since kindergarten.
Shut your mouth.
Yeah?
Really?
Yeah.
Kimberly who?
Kimberly Reynolds.
Oh, yeah. I know you.
Yeah.
Are you just saying that to be polite?
No, not at all.
Oh, okay.
No, I don't.
He's lying.
It's hard.
I know
It's hard to put a face to the name. No.
Okay, so you grew up in the same town as Roz. How long were you at the same school for?
There was only 3. Every kid went to the same school.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Unless you went to the Catholic school.
No, Robert Little.
Robert Little, and then Mackenzie Smith, and then high school.
So were you two at the same, like each one of those schools?
Yeah, well, I switched from Robert Little and went to Mackenzie Smith for a little, and Deb Bennett for a little bit.
Right.
Okay. From what you remember, what was Roz like in kindergarten? Miserable, I bet, right?
Oh, yeah, same as he is now.
Yeah. Stop it.
I have a question.
Stop it. I was not miserable. I was a nice kid.
Did Roz always know he was good looking?
Yes.
This is so much fun.
God. This is my nightmare. This is my nightmare. You know when, you know how you always felt when your parents would go in on like parent-teacher night and you had to sit in the hall because it was 2 people who just knew you so well that shouldn't be talking, right? That's what it's like when somebody I grew up with calls the show. Where this sort of stuff, this sort of information, should never get out. You shouldn't have to answer questions as to whether I thought that I was good looking when I was a kid.
Can I ask another question?
Yes.
Yeah.
Where did Roz eat his lunch, and did he eat with the popular kids?
He was in the bear pit with the popular kids, yes.
Oh, the bear pit.
Stop it.
What's a boring, not that kind of bear pit.
Stop it. Was there a hole in the wall? The last time I went to the bear pit, I left and went right to the doctor.
He gave me an ointment. Anyway, all right, Kimberly. Listen, we just wanted to.
What's the bear pit?
What?
It was an area in the school. It was called the bear pit. You either hung out in the bear pit or the smoking pit. I hung out in the bear pit, and then I hung out in the smoking pit. And you had to go through the cafeteria to get to both of them.
You went from one to the other?
Yeah, all day. That's why I got the marks I did,
see,
more.
He didn't even go to class. The smoking pit.
Yeah, all day.
Kimberly, happy belated birthday. Thank you for your dedication to the Roz and Mocha Show. We appreciate you.
Good to hear from you.
Okay, thanks. Good to hear from you.
The Roz and Mocha Show podcast.
Do you subscribe to Kylie Jenner's YouTube channel?
No, but I think I should because I was watching. Weren't they getting hammered yesterday?
Yeah, she's got 10 million subscribers, and this one video she dropped yesterday already has 2.8 million views. So a while ago, Kylie did a video where she and her sister Chloe got drunk and then did each other's makeup.
Yeah.
And it racked up millions of views because it was hilarious.
God, Maury should do that show. What I would pay to watch Maury and Kylie Jenner get hammered on tequila and doing each other's makeup.
So she was getting requests on her channel to do more of these videos.
Yeah.
So she did one with her sister Kendall, who's out here promoting her 818 tequila, right?
Yeah.
So as soon as Kendall was in the passenger seat of a car, right?
Mm-hmm.
They drive up to wherever they're filming and they're in the parking lot. As soon as she jumps out, she's got the tequila and Kylie's there with the camera like, yo, we should take our first shot right now. So they each take a shot.
Okay.
Right then and there. And then they get to where they're filming, the set that they're filming this video, and they do a double shot each.
Oh.
And then they switch from dark tequila to white tequila, and they do another shot immediately. So we're like 2 minutes into the video, and they're already 4 shots deep.
That's too much
of tequila. And basically,
I'm like You know when you've had too much to drink and you start swallowing your own like spit. I'm doing that right now, even listening to you talking about that.
So listen to this, okay? This is just kind of like a montage of how things progress as they're drinking and trying to put on each other or trying to put makeup on each other, okay?
Is this a birthmark?
Yeah, I've had it
I
my
knew
whole
that.
life.
I knew
I
that.
have the same freckles
Where's
as Dad.
Kendall, you don't think I'm your sister and have the same freckles as you?
Wow, we're gorgeous.
We are gorgeous. What color are you using?
I don't really know.
Okay, so how we fix this problem, Kendall. Okay. What is this?
Guide me through.
Oh no, maple's a good color, but let's do some gypsum. Situation while I pour us some more shots. Kendall, we're going to In-N-Out after this. We're McDonald's right down the street.
No, but I haven't had In-N-Out in like a year. We should definitely go to In-N-Out.
McDonald's is right down the street.
I had it McDonald's 2 weeks ago. I'd rather have In-N-Out.
You've had McDonald's 2 weeks ago?
Maybe less than that.
And you didn't call me?
We haven't even started our makeup, basically.
I know, so put your blush on.
Can I do my bronzer first?
Can you stop yelling at me? Obviously,
No,
you do
honestly,
blush before bronzer.
Says who?
Let's go home. I'm gonna take another shot. My sister's not, because I'm not on your level.
I do have to
It just starts to get messy.
It's gonna be fine. I'm really, actually, a very put together drunk. Like even when I'm really drunk, I'm never sloppy. Can you agree with me?
I can agree with you. Am I ever sloppy? No.
No, but like, I definitely get really destructive.
So then Kendall goes to give Kylie a cheers for another shot, right?
Yeah.
And aggressively hits the glass, and they're chasing. They have a lime.
Okay.
Right? That after a while, they use the lime after they do the shot of tequila. And she gets up, and there's like a white backdrop on a stand behind them.
Yeah.
And Kendall stands up and punches a hole through.
Yeah. But good thing you're not a messy drunk, Kendall.
Through the backdrop.
Sit down. I want to do your look now. Just let me do your look. Sit down in a chair and let me do your
It proceeds to destroy the whole backdrop.
Oh my God.
But just watching the progression of these two try to put on makeup and taking shots of this 818 tequila throughout the entire process, they just get messier and messier and messier. But it's actually pretty funny.
How many shots? Did somebody do a count on how many shots of tequila they had?
So at the end, Kylie and Kendall Jenner each had 8 shots of tequila.
Shut up.
Yeah.
You got to be kidding me.
8 shots of tequila.
I would be dead.
I think you would be dead after the first shot.
I can't drink tequila. Yeah. You know who could drink tequila? Exactly this. 110-pound girls can pound tequila. Guys like me can't drink tequila.
The Roz and Mocha Show podcast.
So Grey's Anatomy killed off Deluca last night.
Spoiler alert! Isn't that like big news?
Yeah. Spoiler alert, by the way.
Why wouldn't you say that like at the very beginning? What if people PVR'd it and they didn't watch it?
Well,
and they were saving it for tonight.
Who, like me? I PVR'd it. I didn't watch it.
So you know you read the spoiler and you still decided to spoil it for everybody else?
It's news. We do the news. I don't know if you just, the beginning of this, I said, let's do the news.
I know, but that's like a huge spoiler alert.
Whatever. It's big news. What are we not going to talk about Meghan and Harry the day after because some people PVR'd the interview?
Well, that everybody watched.
Well, some people couldn't. Night shift workers and so forth.
Oh, well, at Roz Weston.
So
if you want to reach
out. So it's a big 2-hour crossover with Station 19 and
spoiler alert.
Karina and Deluca were pursuing Opal. Opal was the young girl that we met earlier in the season who was suspected of being in a sex trafficking ring.
Okay.
And the people had her captive and they let her go. And then I guess Deluca and his sister go out looking for her. And then Deluca gets stabbed. Spoiler alert. And then he goes and hangs out with Meredith on COVID Beach in her fever dream. Spoiler alert. And then,
hold on. So the two of them are dreaming the same dream?
Well, because Meredith is in like a COVID fever, right? And then so she's living on a beach, and that's where McDreamy showed up earlier in the season.
No, wait, but then Deluca enters her dream?
Yeah, because I think that there's.
But does he
Yes. Listen.
But is Meredith dreaming that Deluca's there, or does Deluca dreaming and sees Meredith in the same setting?
Okay, if they can somehow get people interested in a Grey's Anatomy Station 19 crossover, why can't Meredith and Deluca have dream crossovers?
Huh.
Okay.
Spoiler alert.
Right. Yeah. So Giacomo Gianiotti, who plays Deluca, tells ET, I really don't see how they could have done more with Deluca or explained more with Deluca. He's always been plagued, if you will, about doing the right thing at all costs. Unfortunately, it cost him his life, but looking back, he doesn't regret it. So
Can I read a couple of texts that we're getting? Some really nice ones about our Grey's talk right now. That was a huge spoiler. Roz, why? Another one reads, Roz, you were my favorite until the Grey's Anatomy spoiler. Another one in all caps. Wow, Roz. Wow.
What? It's news,
Another
for
one
God's
said,
sake.
what, Deluca? Another one said, not cool, Roz. Another one said, Roz, why?
Okay, well, listen, all right. What are you going to do? It's all
Jackie
over
said
the place.
Roz shouldn't be allowed to do the news anymore.
Whatever.
And you have one that just know that it's filled with bad words.
Yes.
Okay?
Yeah,
And then
sure.
your name in all caps.
Okay, that's fine too. I will take the heat. It's news. It's called Doing the News.
The Roz and Mocha Show podcast.
Giacomo Giannotti, a.k.a. Deluca from Grey's Anatomy, is waiting to chat with us, Roz.
So they killed Deluca last week, spoiler alert, and I know I made a lot of people very upset when we talked about this, but it was huge news. It's huge news on the show when somebody who's involved so closely with Meredith Grey gets killed because they've done this over and over and over again. I was upset. I know a lot of people are upset with me. Hopefully Giacomo can smooth things over.
Giacomo, welcome back to the Roz and Mocha Show.
Hello.
My heart, man, my heart is broken.
I know a lot of people's hearts are broken.
Was your heart broken?
Yeah, of course. You know, I've been on this show for 7 seasons now, and you know, we have like 12-hour days, and especially as my character has, you know, risen and become a larger part of the show. You know, I work so much. I spend more time with these people than I do with my own family. So, I mean, these people have become family to me over the years. The cast, the crew, the writers, everybody. I'm really going to miss being around all those amazing people and telling these really great stories.
When did you find out that your character was no longer going to be on Grey's?
I found out a couple episodes into the season. Krista Vernoff, our showrunner, had called me in her office with Debbie Allen, our executive producer, and they just said, we wanted to talk to you and about some storylines we're exploring. And I was like, okay. And so they sat me down and they looked a little emotional, and I was like, what's going on, guys?
Oh, man.
And, they were genuinely sad as well. You know, I think as a storyteller, you know, if you're a showrunner of a show, your job is so hard because even though you work with people for many years, become friends and all that kind of stuff, you have to remain that objective storyteller that doesn't get their emotions involved and always is fighting to tell the best story, regardless if it means losing a great friend to the show or, you know, whatever it is. So I think, you know, Krista just said, look, we worked the story a million different ways. We kept coming to the same conclusion. Like this was the story we have to tell. And it highlights, you know, human trafficking, which is a huge issue. And we wanted to shed light on that. And it was a big storyline from the last season that got a lot of attention. So we wanted to continue it. We thought, you know, it's sort of like it's been a really difficult year for a lot of people with COVID, you know what I mean, all over the world globally. And we've lost a lot of people, not just to COVID, but to other things. And, you know, she also said this is a way for us to collectively grieve through a fictional character's loss as well and help us process some emotions. So I thought it was a beautiful story. I think everybody did a really great job. And, you know, I'm a young guy. You know, I'm just starting out my career. You know, this was a big break for me, you know, 7 seasons ago. But, you know, I'm just getting started. So I'm so excited to see all the things I'm going to do next.
When you're in that room, do you feel that there's any room to fight for the character at all? Or no, you just accept it and move on?
I mean, I just accepted it because I liked the story that we talked about. And of course, you know, I mean, like my big part and why I love Krista Vernoff so much as a showrunner is there's always that room for collaboration. I immediately had ideas. She immediately was wanting to incorporate those ideas and understand that I wanted to have a hand in the way my character exited the show. And I appreciated that.
Like, you can't say, why not Owen?
Hey.
Listen, we know on Grey's, and I don't think that that's even disparaging to say, because Grey's has a long history of killing off people's favorite characters. People die. You weren't the first to die. We know people. We know people are going to die. So there's no opportunity to say why not Owen, right? You're just like that didn't come on.
Kevin McKidd is a Scottish treasure. I will have you know.
So are you. Maybe not Scottish, but everybody's a treasure, though. That's the thing with this show, is that everybody's a treasure.
But I will say, Giacomo, you may have an opportunity to kill off Owen if that is included in the episode that you are directing, actually.
Yeah, so actually today's my last day of editing on my episode that I directed.
Is it, huh?
It's been an amazing experience.
And so what do you do? What do you do now? Because obviously the conversation is still, is this the last season of Grey's? And I don't think even up to today anybody has given a definitive answer for that. Are you still in that loop, or are you now out of that loop?
They're still wrestling with it. Quite honestly, I wish I had more information to give people. And I've been doing a lot of press this week because of my exit from the show. And a lot of people have brought that up. And truly, they don't know. I think the powers that be would like this show to go on forever. It's such a, fan favorite and success. But, at the end of the day, it has to come down to the creatives. You know what I mean? The Krista Vernoff, Ellen Pompeo, Shonda Rhimes. Like, do we want to keep making this show? Do we want to move on to something else? Have we told all we can tell? You know what I mean? Are we extending something too long? Should we call it when we're on a high? All those kind of ideas are swirling around, and they haven't made a decision yet. So.
And what about for you, Giacomo? Are you leaning more towards directing now? Is that something that you want to pursue a little bit more? Or are you looking at other roles? You want to keep acting?
Yeah, I definitely want to keep acting it, but I'm excited to just completely kind of reinvent myself and show people that I can do something completely different and jump into a completely different character's skin. So I'm just taking some time to weigh my options in terms of what I do next, as I want it to be quite different from Deluca. And as for directing, then I've been working at this for many years to carve out a career in directing in Hollywood, and so to have this first opportunity to be on such a big stage is such a big honor, and I hope to keep doing it. And I hope it's a reason that can actually bring me back to Canada more, to be honest, because if I could come back to Canada more often to direct, I would be so happy. I miss home so much.
I can only imagine. Deluca was just so good for Meredith. I upset a lot of people because I was just so in shock that they did you like that on the show. There's a lot of people here that because they felt I spoiled Grey's for them, which I don't feel that I spoiled Grey's for them. So I'm wondering if you could maybe ease the sort of tension between me and a lot of the people who love the show and also love your show. And I'm wondering if you could possibly, if I felt that if you forgive me, maybe they will forgive me as well.
Okay, but that you gave me that $400.
Listen, man, what are you doing? Okay, don't do that.
The e-transfer went through, no problem.
It just cleared. Okay, it just cleared. I forgive you.
Thank you.
Giacomo Gianiotti, thank you very much for taking time out of your day to kick it with us once again on the Roz and Mocha Show. We appreciate you so much, brother.
So much fun with you guys, always. Thanks so much. Have a great day.
The Roz and Mocha Show podcast.
Hey, Mocha.
Yeah.
You ready?
Yeah.
Let's do the news!
A Roz and Mocha Show and Kiss 92.5 News Break.
Patrick Ewing, massive New York Knicks superstar, legend, everything else. He is coaching Georgetown in the Big East tournament at Madison Square Garden, and he did a press conference yesterday because he's super pissed that the security guards inside Madison Square Garden don't recognize him and know who he is, and as he's walking through the halls of Madison Square Garden, keep asking him for his ID.
I do want to say one thing, though. I thought this was my building, and I feel terrible that I'm getting stopped, accosted, asking for passes. Everybody in this building should know who the hell I am. And I'm getting stopped. I can't move around this building. Like I was like, what the hell? Is this Madison Square Garden? I'm going to have to call Mr. Dolan and say, geez, is my number in the rafters or what?
You just walk around with your old jersey, man.
My favorite tweet is this. I don't blame Patrick Ewing for being pissed about getting stopped multiple times by security at Madison Square Garden. However, in Madison Square Garden's defense, he is difficult to recognize without Michael Jordan dunking over him.
Oh, Patrick. How you gonna let Twitter do that to you, bro?
The Roz and Mocha Show podcast.
Huge auction for like sci-fi and comic book movie lovers coming up. So in April, there's a massive movie memorabilia auction that's happening. And when I say massive, I mean like Edward Scissorhands gloves.
Oh, wow. Like from the actual movie?
Yeah,
Not a replica.
from the actual movie. Batman costuming. I mean, I know an entire like Batman costume, cowl, suit, boots, gloves, cape used in the movie.
Oh wow,
Val Kilmer's movie, but used in the movie.
I would even settle for Clooney's.
Okay, with the nipples.
Yeah,
Clooney had the nipples
over Val Kilmer.
An entire life-size film used Predator costume.
Oh wow, I'm down.
One of the original xenomorphs from Alien, full size.
What are they doing? Well, like why? They're
auctioning them off
somewhere.
They are, but I think that they get rid of stuff. They turn stuff over, and then
that's like a pretty big archive of things.
And then they auction auction stuff off. Script notes. One of the Arnold Schwarzenegger when he was in Batman.
Yeah.
You know that Mr. Freeze gun that he had.
Yeah.
That's being auctioned off.
Oh wow.
Bruce Willis when he was in Die Hard.
Yeah.
His dirty tank top, his gun, over-the-shoulder gun holster, and his cop badge on the chain are being auctioned off.
Really?
Yeah. So is his badge. John McClane, he had that little tiny wallet with his NYPD badge in it and his ID. That's being auctioned off.
Doesn't this stuff get like preserved in a museum?
I guess. I don't know.
Have you ever bought anything at an auction?
No.
Like from movies?
No, I'm not interested in that.
I have.
Harry Potter's wand is being auctioned off. What did you buy, Maury? What did you pay for it, and what did you tell Matthew you paid for it?
So it was before Matthew.
Yeah.
BM, and it was for $200, and it was the shirt worn in season 1, episode 1 of Queer as Folk.
The yellow PPE suit worn by Walter White, Bryan Cranston from Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
That he was making meth in. How much did you pay for that, Maury?
$200.
$200.
How much is that suit?
That doesn't have the prices yet.
No, yet.
No. Clarice Starling's FBI badge from Silence of the Lambs. I'm telling you, this is like a great auction, man.
They should take all this stuff and just create a museum.
Yeah,
I also have Enrico Colantoni's hat from Flashpoint.
How much you pay for that?
No, he gifted that to me.
Oh, so priceless. Anything else?
A pair of original Nike Air Jordan 2 sneakers worn by Bill Murray in Space Jam.
Oh, yeah.
The Roz and Mocha Show podcast.
Listen to this.
Yeah.
Christie's Auction House just sold its first purely digital artwork yesterday.
Okay.
For $69 million. This is the highest price paid for a digital piece ever. So when I say digital, okay, the piece is made up of, it's called The First 5,000 Days, and it's by an artist by the name of Mike Winkleham, who goes by the name Beeple. And the work, his piece of art, is a collage of 5,000 drawings, one created each day over the past 13 years.
Mm-hmm.
And he put it all together into one piece of art. And it was the first piece of digital art. And when I say the first piece of digital art, I don't mean that the art was created digitally and then printed and sold. What I mean is somebody paid $69 million for a file.
Oh, my God. You better like label that and put it in a folder somewhere.
Okay.
Don't accidentally delete.
It's a file. It's not even the piece does not exist. There is no physical manifestation of this
digital
piece. It's just digital.
No, too risky. I couldn't be trusted with that.
Right?
Absolutely. I've accidentally deleted stuff from hard drives before. You know what I mean?
Bro.
Like you're a little too quick to clean up the hard drive. Right? And then you hit select all by accident.
No chance.
And then you quickly rush to empty the trash bin. And then you're like, oh, crap.
Yeah, no chance.
The Roz and Mocha Show podcast.
Grammy Awards last night.
It was a good show.
Yeah, it was a good show. A lot of history made last night. Taylor Swift becoming the first woman to win Album of the Year 3 times. For Folklore, before that was Fearless, and of course 1989. That was huge. She looked great. She had I don't know how she's breathing through that mask, man. That mask with all them flowers on it and stuff.
Yeah.
Looked tick. Really did. I'd be wheezing under that thing.
Especially in that LA smog.
Oof. Beyonce also making history, surpassing Alison Krauss to become the most awarded female act in Grammy history, earning 28 Grammys. Beyonce is now tied with producer Quincy Jones for the second most Grammy wins. Late conductor George Solti is the most dedicated Grammy winner with 31.
Oh my God. I am so honored. I'm so excited. Thank you, guys.
Yes, Queen.
Okay.
She's like, you may settle down now.
Yes. Shush.
As an artist, I believe it's my job and all of our jobs to reflect the times. And it's been such a difficult time. So I wanted to uplift, encourage, and celebrate all of the beautiful Black queens and kings that continue to inspire me and inspire the whole world. This is
Blue Ivy also won an award. I think she became the second person under 10 to win a Grammy. I think that's what the deal was. Yeah. Billie Eilish also in there for Record of the Year, and while accepting the award, gives a huge shout out to Meg Thee Stallion.
This is really embarrassing for me. Megan, girl, I was gonna write a speech about how you deserve this, but then I was like, there's no way they're gonna choose me. I was like, it's hers. You deserve this. You had a year that I think is untoppable. You are a queen. I want to cry thinking about how much I love you. You're so beautiful. You're so talented. You deserve everything in the world. I think about you constantly. I root for you always. You deserve it, honestly. Genuinely, this goes to her. Can we just cheer for Megan Thee Stallion, please?
I know I appreciate the sentiment because this is what she did. We'll play this for you now. This was at last year's Grammy Awards when Billie Eilish also won.
Can I just say that I think Ariana deserves this? Thank You Next got me through some shit, and I think it deserves, more than anything in the world. I love you so much.
And then also in 2020 at the Brit Awards, while accepting an award, Billie Eilish said this.
Geez. Before I say anything, Lizzo, Ariana, Camila, Lana, you're the only reason I exist, so thank you for you guys. You deserve this.
Just thanking everybody else, shouting out everyone else. Which I don't mind that. That's fine.
I don't. But I think that should happen on nomination day, not on Grammy night.
Right.
I think on nomination day is
celebrate
when,
everybody, and Grammy night you celebrate
if you're going to say I don't want this nomination.
Oh no! But then what if the Grammys backtrack and you don't want it? All right.
Yeah, I would like to see, and I get where it comes from, everything else, but I think that people should. I don't like watching people sort of diminish their own moments. And I understand heaping praise and those things meant a lot to her, but I wish that I like watching people who are in their own moment, right?
Did you like watching the moment between Cardi B and Meg Thee Stallion during the performance of WAP?
I'll tell you, you can now scissor on network television.
Apparently.
It was so edited, it was barely a song.
I know.
Right?
You don't need the song when you just got the visuals.
Did you see the size of that bed they built?
Oh.
Also, did you see the size of that shoe they built? There was a giant clear stripper heel, and the actual back heel on it was the stripper pole. It was awesome. And Post Malone, I don't know where Post Malone was, but he was sat on stage somewhere, right?
I think he was waiting for one of them to walk over to him.
It was the weirdest thing, and I thought it was awesome, but they gave Post Malone a great vantage point to watch what was going down. But during Meg's performance, before they did this, she had 2 tap dancers as backup dancers, and they were incredible. Everybody looked so futuristic. Everybody looked like that they were fighting for oil in the year 2075. Like everybody had these like sort of mech warrior metal costumes on. All of them. Like this is barely a song, right? Like you can't even play it.
I'm not even.
And this
listening to what
was
you're
not
saying.
live, correct?
Oh, absolutely
Okay,
not.
no,
sir. No, you could tell. You could tell. They were singing a track.
Yeah, because you have to. Because you can't self-censor that much, right?
No. Somebody would slip up. Absolutely, somebody would slip up.
Right, yes.
It would be Cardi B that would slip up.
Right, and do we have that Trevor Noah thing from afterwards, Maury? Yeah? So Trevor Noah afterwards. So they have this big giant bed, and then there's stairs going up, as you do. Like, you know when you have a tall bed and you got to put stairs for your little dog? Right? So Trevor Noah walks up the little dog stairs and gets on the top of the bed and then says this.
Did you see that? Did you see that? Wow, Cardi B featuring Megan Thee Stallion. That was amazing. Wow, that was amazing. It's the whole thing. It's a giant shoe, and you got the giant bed. Look. Oh, and it's so soft. What is the thread count? This is amazing. Wow. Oh, guys, wait. I just realized something. This is a dream. This is a dream that I've had, to be in bed with Cardi B. And then my grandmother comes in and whips our asses for having our shoes on in the bed. And don't play Cardi, she will whip your ass. I don't know about you, but we have to cool down. We're going to go for a quick break.
Anyway, so that
He's
was-
out of breath.
I don't know. It's a lot of stairs. It's a big bed. It's
Like 23 stairs?
It's 20.
The Roz and Mocha Show podcast.
So Taylor Swift and Harry Styles last night, huh? Am I right? People were watching them engaged and
They got engaged?
in an animated chat after he beat her for Best Pop Solo Performance at the Grammys. This is a little bit of Harry Styles accepting his award.
To everyone who made this record with me, thank you so much. This was the first song we wrote after my first album came out during a day off in Nashville, and I just want to say thanks to Tom, Tyler, and Mitch, and everyone, Rob Stringer, and everyone at Columbia, my manager Jeffrey, who has always nudged me to be better and never pushed me, and thank you so much, and I feel very grateful to be here. Thank you.
And
thank you so much.
This was back in 2012 and 2013 when they dated. When they were talking, by the way, after the Grammys, no masks. So either they're in each other's bubble or they both have the shot, which I think everybody in that room had the shot last night.
Oh,
100%.
Yeah.
Taylor Swift did not go home empty-handed. In actuality, she made history. Like, it was incredible last night with her album. What was it called again? Folklore, picking up something that she's done before with 1989 as well as Fearless.
Oh God! I want to thank all of my collaborators who are on the stage. I want to thank Serban Gania. I want to thank Justin Vernon. I'm so excited to meet you someday. Joe, who is the first person that I play every single song that I write, and I had the best time writing songs with you in quarantine. I want to thank James, Inez, and Betty, and their parents, who are the second and third people that I play every new song that I write. But mostly, we just want to thank the fans. You guys met us in this imaginary world that we created, and we can't tell you how honored we are for it.
That is Album of the Year, third time, becoming the first woman ever to win Album of the Year 3 times again. Folklore, she did it with Fearless, and she did it with 1989.
Yeah, women
Huge achievement.
Crushed it last night. Even Beyonce setting records for her Grammy wins, right?
The Roz and Mocha Show podcast.
Samantha Markle doing interviews again.
Oh.
Samantha Markle, of course, the estranged sister of Meghan Markle. This time...
And the most famous out of the two, right?
Right, yes. This time, not even like really discussing their relationship. Now she's predicting the demise of Meghan and Harry. Listen to this.
I see it ending in divorce unless they get extensive counseling and can agree
She's an expert.
to work on being honest, to work on apologies to everyone that they've damaged in the course of this bull in a china shop 2-year spiel. I mean, nothing about any of this has been honest. And the damage to the Royals has been massive, especially now. Maybe he's already questioning it. He has to be if he has a functioning frontal lobe. Come on. He's not 12.
Right.
He was in the military. He's got to have a sense of, oh my God, everything you said to me has been a lie. What man would be happy or comfortable like that? And the minute I believe he starts dissenting or pulling back from her, I think it can get nasty.
And speaking of honesty, so CBS ran the Oprah interview. Was it CBS?
Yeah.
In the States? Yes, CBS ran the Oprah interview in the States. ITV ran the Oprah interview in the UK, and ITV has been forced to edit portions of the Oprah interview with Meghan and Harry after it was revealed that some of the headlines that Oprah and her team cut together, which was there to sort of emphasize the racist press coverage that the couple had experienced in the UK, was proven to be not factual. So headlines that were flashed on the screen during the interview, they say were manipulated to back up the assertion that there was, in fact, bigoted coverage. Associated Newspapers, the publisher of the Mail on Sunday and the Daily Mail Online, complained to Viacom, CBS, and ITV, which then said that they deliberately distorted and doctored newspaper headlines. Quote, the editing was not made apparent to viewers, and as a result, this section of the program is both seriously inaccurate and misleading. So one of the headlines that they wrote was from a 2018 headline involving the Mail on Sunday, where it was the UKIP leader Henry Bolton, that his girlfriend at the time had made racist remarks about Meghan Markle. However, producers of the Oprah interview chose not to show the newspaper's headline about the vile racist attack, instead used a small part of the headline that was used to just quote what the woman said. So the headline was,
But still, so making it seem like it was a royal family.
No, making it seem like it was the newspaper that said this.
Oh,
as opposed
okay,
to
yeah.
as opposed to it was the newspaper calling it a vile racist attack, and then they put the quote in what was said.
Yeah.
But the actual line where they called it a vile racist attack was omitted from the interview with Oprah. And this was one of many when during that section where they're flashing up headlines. So many of them they claim were doctored or just straight up, misleading.
So does CBS now have to issue an apology?
So Oprah Winfrey's production company said, we stand by the broadcast in its entirety.
Oh, wow.
But ITV is forced to edit it.
Can they do that? I guess they can, right?
Yeah, sure, of course they can.
Do whatever they want.
Yeah, well, if it's proved to be misleading, right?
Yeah.
There's rules and laws and everything else where you can't actually do that. You can't take something that was an entire headline and only highlight one area to say, this is what they said about you, when it was an actual quote from somebody else.
Right.
That in that headline they also called vile and racist.
Yeah.
Right. It's just you just can't do that. So that is the latest on that, but no word as to whether it will be re-edited for the American audience.
The Roz and Mocha Show podcast.
News from the world of the talk. If you remember last week, Sharon and Cheryl on the talk went at it when they brought up Sharon Osbourne's. She was backing Piers Morgan after she wrote a really glowing sort of tweet saying, have your back, Piers Morgan, after Piers Morgan walked away from his television show. And then Piers Morgan decided to call out CBS and the talk, and then he demanded apology for the way that Sharon was treated on that show.
Yeah.
So the talk is now on a brief hiatus.
No.
Yes. They canceled shows for today and tomorrow. They're scheduled to come back on Wednesday. The staff was notified yesterday of the hiatus, which comes on the heels of the investigation that was launched on Friday based off Wednesday's episode. They said that we are committed to a diverse, inclusive, and respectful workplace, and that all matters related to Wednesday's episode of The Talk are currently under internal review. And then Sharon Osbourne did an interview with Variety where she said, I blame the network for it. She said, I was totally blindsided by the whole situation in my 11 years on the show. This was the first time that I was not involved with the planning of a segment. She says this. Sure, they can ask me. She says, so the showrunners asked her 5 minutes before the show if they could bring up Pierce Morgan. And she said, sure, they can ask me whatever. She says, but then I get there, I say my piece, and Cheryl Underwood turns around straight-faced, looks at me, and is reading from a card with questions. I was so hurt, so caught off guard, and so stunned by what I was being asked and not being prepared. I was honestly in shock. I felt like I was in front of a firing squad. I felt like a lamb held out for the slaughter, and they had me there for 20 minutes. When they took a break and went to commercial, she says, I begged them to stop, to please move on to other subjects. She said, listen, I'm a big girl. However, CBS blindsided me, and I don't know why they did that to me. The showrunners told me it came from executives to do this to me.
Wow.
She also said to Variety on Friday that she is also a work in progress and that she wants to learn and that she is willing to learn. So that is all the fallout from what went down on the talk last week. Is the show is actually now on hiatus for 2 days while they run an investigation into the conversation that went on between Cheryl and Sharon Osbourne.
And all this because of the Meghan and Harry interview with Oprah a week ago.
Yeah, this is the ripple effect of that, which is really, really crazy.
Wow. The Roz and Mocha Show podcast.
The Grammy ratings were atrocious.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah. So,
Yo, it was like such a stellar lineup, though.
So while the Grammy audience did beat the most recent Emmy and Golden Globe audiences, the amount of people that watched the Grammys, depending on what demographic you're looking in, they were either down 53% or 61% from last year. That is an all-time low. So not only were the ratings down, they were the most down for the Grammys.
You would think. Like, I'm just looking on YouTube right now, right?
Yeah.
And all the top trending videos are all stuff from the Grammys. Like, the top one with 9.3 million views is Dua Lipa's live performance of Levitating and Don't Start Now. The second one is Taylor Swift's acceptance speech winning album of the year. Post Malone is on there as well. Like,
I think that people, when it comes to music, I exactly this. You know, you want to watch Dua Lipa, you go on YouTube the next day, and watch the performance.
guess.
When there's so many performances, like there's not like the Grammys don't like when things from other awards shows become, you know, those moments where you want to sort of be in it. They're usually when somebody wins an award. Like I think that, you know, there's a lot of people that, you know, tune into the Grammys for the performances, but I don't know if the Grammys translate as well to sort of COVID rules, because I think that the energy's not there. Like when you don't have the crowd, you don't have like it's such a different show. But I'm with you. It was a stacked show.
it's probably the best lineups in I don't even know how long.
As far as what's popular now and who they got to perform, yes. It was an absolutely stacked lineup.
The Roz and Mocha Show podcast.
Michelle Obama sitting down with Jenna Bush Hager on NBC's The Today Show. This will air this morning, and this is Michelle Obama giving her thoughts on the Meghan Markle Prince Harry interview with Oprah Winfrey.
You talked about life in the White House and how, although you didn't take a single moment for granted, that there were moments of real loneliness. And so I wonder, when you watched Meghan Markle speak out the other night, what went through your mind?
Public service it's a bright, sharp, hot spotlight, and most people don't understand it, and nor should they. The thing that I always keep in mind is that none of this is about us in public service. It's about the people that we serve.
What about when she talked about the fact that she experienced racism?
Race isn't a new construct in this world for people of color, you know. So it wasn't a complete surprise to sort of hear her feelings. The thing that I hope for and the thing I think about is that this first and foremost is a family, and I pray for forgiveness and healing for them so that they can use this as a teachable moment for us all.
The Roz and Mocha Show podcast.
What's going on, brother?
So both the new Bachelorettes were on Good Morning America this morning.
Oh, they were already,
Katie
huh?
and Michelle, yeah. Because there's still so much to talk about. Like, they didn't get to, if you remember on After the Final Rose with Emmanuel Acho the other night, they just announced, and then that was really it. They didn't get to, especially Katie.
Any of the business stuff.
And yeah, any of the sort of business stuff, or even Katie's real, like her feelings towards what this franchise is, because I'm sure at some point she was ecstatic about being asked to be the Bachelorette, and then the franchise, a lot of the luster sort of came off it with everything that's been going on. So this is Katie on doing a season of The Bachelorette without Chris Harrison as the host.
For fans of Bachelor Nation who say they won't watch this season because Chris Harrison's not hosting, I think they're on the wrong side of history. I think it's 2021, and I support Chris and everything that he's doing, and I think this is the best decision.
And then we did hear from Michelle on After the Final Rose and her thoughts with everything that happened between Matt and Rachel and with Chris Harrison. And she was really great. But this is Michelle now talking about the immense pressure that is on her, as it was with Matt going into a season of The Bachelorette where so much change is needed, but you're still on the inside.
Do you feel the support of the franchise behind you to be the change you want to see?
They know that I'm going to push forward to make an impact in a positive way. And I think they're kind of jumping on my train to do that with me.
Do you think it's going to work? I don't mean that necessarily the change, but to me, there just seems like something was... The Bachelor, the fantasy just ended with this season, and I don't know if you can kind of go back and recreate the frivolous, fantastical world of The Bachelor
I think
anymore.
Part of the problem with the franchise is they've had 2 seasons, back-to-back seasons, just filled with controversy, right? So the magic behind what the Bachelor franchise is, no matter which version of it you watch, is gone a little bit, right? And you don't want to have Chris Harrison there where the only question is going to be is, why is Chris Harrison still there? And then you bring in 2 other people to host the show to try to not recreate, but have people fall in love with the franchise all over again without asking so many questions. I think it's going to be tough. It's going to be real tough.
This is the same season, and it's incredible how much of this season exploded. Like, we forgot, like, nobody's even talking about the fact that one of the young women that went on that show was accused of being a call girl, and they ran it. And not only did they run it, they ran with it for weeks.
Right up until...
Like, life ruined.
And they brought it up again during the Women Tell All, which was only like 3 weeks ago.
Like, that happened.
Yeah, I know.
That would have been the biggest thing on any season.
Yeah.
What she had to go through.
But now it's completely forgotten about.
And then the whole thing with Matt's dad showing up, and you only brought pizza and sneakers, and I didn't
and
eat
that
pizza
was just
and
last
sneakers.
week.
That was just last week.
And that wasn't the biggest story
Not
to
even
come out of this
discussed.
season. Right?
So I don't know. So we got back-to-back seasons of The Bachelorette coming up with Michelle and Katie. And shoot us a text if you're still going to watch.
The Roz and Mocha Show podcast.
The Hollywood Foreign Press Association. This is the organization behind the Golden Globes, where there are 87 members, and it was discovered that out of the 87 members, 0 of them were black. They say that they have now committed to adding at least 13 black members to the group before next year's ceremony. That will be 13%. They're going to up their number from 87 to 100. This was after more than 100 Hollywood PR firms representing nearly all of show business's top talent released an open letter demanding the change to the Hollywood Foreign Press Association. So the organization, the Hollywood Foreign Press Association, says, as a demonstration of our commitment, the board has unanimously approved a plan to increase membership to a minimum of 100 members this year, with a requirement of at least 13% of the membership to be black journalists. So there you go.
You knew that was going to happen, though. Like, they had to make a change.
I know, but it's almost like when you start looking at those numbers, when you're talking foreign press and 87 people, when you get to a number like 87, I know it's not like the Academy Awards where there's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people, but when you get to 87 people that are international, it almost starts to seem deliberate when you hit around 87 that there's no black people.
Yeah.
It almost starts to seem deliberate.
Because it's shockingly
if you were
a low
20,
number.
right? If you're like at 20, you could be like, nah, okay, maybe you can understand it, right?
Yeah.
But when you get to 87 and there's not one, it almost starts to feel deliberate.
And for nobody to notice, I'm sure they all notice.
Yeah. Well, because it was always a secret, right?
Yeah.
It's this weirdo club.
The Roz and Mocha Show podcast.
Tinder will allow you to run background checks. So Tinder, the company that also owns Match.com, Hinge, OkCupid, and a ton of other dating sites, just announced that they're going to start letting users run background checks on their dates.
How?
I guess it's like an upgrade pay service that you can subscribe to.
So you can type in a person's name and see if they have a record?
You could go on Tinder, and if you match with somebody, you can opt to, I guess, use their background search, and they'll tell you if they have like a criminal record and stuff
What
like
do you
that.
find out on background searches? Like parking tickets or?
I don't know.
Why are you asking those questions as a married man?
Yeah.
No, but I'm just curious because like I've never had anybody do a background check on me because I have a horrible credit rating. Surprise.
No, credit ratings would not be, I don't think, unless maybe you've filed for bankruptcy before, or if
So
there's
they
a
don't know like if you have
there's
a bad like credit rating or if you owe money to the government or.
Why are you asking all these questions that are like specific to you?
I know. Also, this is about people who are trying to hook up with people.
Yeah.
Like this
No,
isn't
I'm
just a
just
story. This
curious.
isn't just a story on like freedom of information and what's available. This is a story for specifically.
Right, but what do you find out on background checks?
But your fear is coming from somebody who potentially not wanting to date you because you owe Canada Revenue.
I'm not alone in this. People want to know.
No, I think you're not in a big group in this. I would say it's not a very large group of people.
Wow, happily married, eh,
right?
Mark?
Yeah, sounds blissful. Believe it or not, they say 21% of people said that they are not interested in looking up somebody's history before they date them. Now, whether that means something, it's a background check or even something as simple as a Google search. However, 59% of people say that they definitely want to get info on somebody before they date them.
The Roz and Mocha Show podcast.
The AstraZeneca vaccine. So the shot was approved in the UK in December. And the vaccine has been given to more than 17 million people in the EU and the UK. The shot was said to be 82% effective from the original coronavirus variant. But since last week, 19 countries have delayed or temporarily suspended the use of the AstraZeneca vaccine. Yesterday, Germany, France, Italy, and Spain joined them. There's concerns that the vaccine could be tied to reports of blood clots. And one out of the more than 17 million vaccinations, there have been 37 reported blood clots in legs or lungs, and one reported death, and that was in Denmark. The manufacturer is urging calm and says that the rate of blood clots in comparison is, quote, much lower than that would have happened in the general population. Justin Trudeau said that Health Canada and our experts and scientists have spent an awful lot of time making sure that every vaccine approved in Canada is both safe and effective. That was his response to the mass halting of AstraZeneca.
Because they said that what they're telling us is that the vaccine that's coming to Canada is not made in the same place where the ones that Europe is getting.
Sure.
But that's just what they're saying.
What the hell do I know?
Exactly.
Like I have an argument against that. You know what I mean? Okay.
What are you going to say? Prove it? Like take me to the factory?
Yeah. Like nobody even knows how to get a vaccine.
The Roz and Mocha Show podcast.
Tiffany Haddish was on Clubhouse, and
oh my God, Clubhouse.
I want your opinion as to whether she was being disrespectful to Nicki Minaj.
Nicki?
Yeah, so Tiffany Haddish on Clubhouse, you can hear another voice on there, and it's somebody that is suggesting that Tiffany Haddish is better than Nicki Minaj. The female voice that you'll hear is Tiffany Haddish.
Anybody ever tell you like the Nicki Minaj of comedy right now? You just killing But unlike Nikki, she shows up on time.
And unlike Nikki, I treat everybody with respect and dignity.
Hey,
that part.
Unlike Nikki, I treat everybody with respect and dignity. Oh.
I think that's real.
Oh.
I think that's real.
Yeah? What's that over, though? I didn't know that the guys didn't like each
I
other.
don't know. I know in there was like an MTV award show from a few years ago.
Yeah.
Where Tiffany Haddish was on stage with Kevin Hart, and Tiffany Haddish made a joke about Normani from Fifth Harmony.
Okay.
And Nicki Minaj won the award that they were presenting and came up to the stage and looked at Tiffany Haddish. I thought it was like a joke.
Yeah.
But she said, like, don't you, like, Tiff, don't you dare talk about Fifth Harmony. Normani is that B.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But I looked at it and I thought that, well, Tiffany Haddish was making a joke. Was Nicki,
Yeah.
like, trying to joke back, but it came off as serious? Like, they
Right.
should have no reason to have beef. Unless there's stuff, like, behind the scenes that nobody knows.
Who knows? But that's like something to say publicly, right?
Yeah.
That's a big statement when you're saying it on Clubhouse.
Yeah. Yeah, big time. Like, listen to this again. This is why I think it's real.
Anybody ever tell you like the Nicki Minaj of comedy right now? You just killing game. But unlike Nikki, she shows up on time.
And unlike Nikki, I treat everybody with respect and dignity.
Hey,
that part.
Damn.
Oh.
The Roz and Mocha Show podcast.
The Academy Awards, they had said that this year, because of the pandemic, that only presenters, nominees, and guests of those individuals would be the ones in the auditorium. So it's
Okay.
going to be a very sort of closed set kind of thing.
Like the Grammys.
Yes, sort of like the Grammys, but I think more live, right?
Gotcha.
I think that that's what they're going to try and do. And Glenn Close yesterday was nominated for an Academy Award for her role in Hillbilly Elegy, which nobody liked that movie. The movie was terribly reviewed, but she's one of these rare cases where she was nominated in the same week for an Academy Award and also a Razzie for the same role.
Oh, no.
For the same role.
So now she's what, like double booked
Right.
that weekend?
Yes. So for her Academy Award, she is nominated with Maria Bakalova for Borat, Olivia Colman for The Father, Amanda Seyfried in Mank, and Jung Jang-yeon for Minari.
Did you watch that movie, though?
Which one?
The Glenn Close
Hillbilly
one?
Elegy?
Yeah.
It's terrible.
I watched the trailer
Ugh.
and I was like interested, but then once reviews all came out,
Yeah.
not a single person liked that movie.
It wasn't good. And then on the Razzie side, she's nominated against Lucy Hale and Maggie B for Fantasy Island, Kristen Wiig in Wonder Woman 1984, and Maddie Ziegler in Music. So that's her big competition.
Roz and Mocha Q&A.
All right, here we go. Another round of Ask Roz and Mocha. Hello, Mel. What's going on?
Hi, you guys. How are you?
Doing good. How are you today?
I'm a little nervous talking to you guys.
Why
I have
is
to
that?
admit.
Why is that?
Because I feel like I'm talking to my high school crush.
Who? All
And my heart's beating out of my chest.
Okay, so who's the high school crush? Is it all three of us, or is it just one of us, me?
Oh, just one of you.
Oh, which one? Which one?
I don't want to say.
Mel, which one?
I don't want to say.
Why not?
I don't want to say.
Why not?
Mel,
Why
just
not?
say
Why
it.
not?
My husband could be listening.
No. Listen, don't you? You're the one that brought it up. So which one?
And
Which
you
one's-
weren't with your husband back in high school. How long you been listening to the Roz and Mocha Show for?
Oh, not long. Just a year.
Oh,
interesting.
wow. Okay.
Okay,
And how long
okay.
you been
Year,
married? Less
and
than a
I-
year or more than a year?
No, 7 years.
Oh,
7
congratulations.
years.
All
Awesome.
right.
That's
so new
interesting.
crush. Yo,
Okay.
Roz, why are you fixing your hair?
What's that?
Why are you fixing your hair? All of a sudden, we
I
start
know.
talking to Mel. She mentions
Listen,
crush.
man, I
Roz
don't
is
know.
in here,
I
both
don't-
hands
I
in his
don't-
hair,
I don't-
fixing it up.
I don't trust you guys. I don't know what you have planned. Maybe Mel's on a cell phone standing out in the hallway. I don't know what you guys have planned. Okay, you jokers.
So Mel, who's the crush? Who's the crush?
Who's the crush? Ross.
Yeah.
Oh, see, my heart was pounding. I thought maybe I had a chance.
Thank you so
Maury
much.
is sweet.
Maury, oh,
Good thing you did your hair today, Roz.
Thank you. Right.
So Mel, what's your question?
My question is, what would you consider yourself a geek at?
What would you consider yourself a geek at? What's your
Yeah.
answer?
I actually don't have one.
Oh.
At all?
At all.
You're not like nerdy about something?
I'm not nerdy about anything. Not like you guys about Star Wars and lawn maintenance and Golden Girls.
Wow. Okay. I think we can just end the call right now.
Yeah,
then.
thanks so much for listening.
You just nailed it. Well, yeah, geez, that's interesting. You brought up lawn stuff. I got really, really into lawn stuff over the last couple of years just because I enjoy it. And it's outside and it's something that you can't fake. That's what I feel that where my interests lie now is I gravitate towards things that it's things that money can't buy, right? You can't buy a good lawn. You have to work at it.
You can. It's called turf.
No, but you got to work at it. Otherwise it dies. Like it'll just
No, I mean
look
like fake grass.
Well, that's not lawn though. You can't buy it. You know, you have to actually work at it. You have to put the time in, and you got to, do all your research. If you want that sort of perfect thing, it's just a lot of work, and it doesn't matter. Like I could pay a company to come over and do it, once a week, but it's thousands of dollars to do that. So I sort of geek out with stuff like that because I really, really enjoy the process. And to be honest with you, there's a lot of things that I think that I probably could be into that may piss Catherine off if I had other hobbies that would sort of take me out of the house, where I'm just at home.
Yeah.
Like it's not like I golf. Like if I started golfing, that's like 6 hours on a Saturday. It's a very difficult thing to explain to somebody who doesn't golf. If you both did, you could do it as a couple. But
how do guys that golf stay in marriages?
Well, this is the whole thing, man. Golfing's a very expensive hobby.
Yeah.
And it gets you out of the house for a very long time.
I should take up golf.
Yeah, you should. You can afford golf though. I don't think you could.
No, my family is a member of a golf and country club.
Yeah, really?
My papa was.
Your family?
My papa
still?
was, yeah. I think they still are. They go there for lunch.
Well, you can go to a golf club, but you still have to pay to play.
Oh.
Yeah.
Does your dad golf?
Yes, he does.
Oh,
Yeah.
there you go.
Have you ever golfed with your old man?
Yeah, well, does mini putt count?
No.
Like
Shoot,
golf.
Go
I've
playing
never
around
hit,
at 18
I've
with your dad.
never hit an actual golf ball.
No, you haven't.
Never.
It's very difficult.
I
It's
assume so.
frustrating. Golfing is very frustrating. Mocha, what are you a geek at, would you say? Other than Star Wars, as was mentioned.
Okay, so like Back to the Future, like old school movies and like old school wrestling.
Can you be a geek of a movie that only has 3 movies? Like Back to the Future?
Of course.
Yeah.
Because there's no new ones. There's only 3, right? So you're not really learning anything new. You're just a fan of it.
No, but my God, you could be a geek of a movie that only has 1 movie.
Mm-hmm.
That's why you find people who know everything there is to know about, Star Wars or like Scarface, where they know every location that was used. They know, the props people. They know why the costumes were the way they were. Like you can geek out over something that was
It
only
blew my mind
one
recently
movie.
that the Doc and Marty are not related.
What?
Yeah, we talked about this.
Yeah,
we
forever
talked
I
about
thought
this.
they were related.
Yeah. A lot of people thought that Doc was like Marty's uncle or some sort of family
Distant
relation.
relative?
Yeah, because it was weird that a young kid would be hanging out with an old guy like that.
Yeah.
And
Right?
waking up in his house when he's not there.
Yeah. There's a lot of questionable moments.
David
with their
Morey, what do you
relationship.
consider yourself a geek at?
I know you said, Mel, you said Golden Girls, which is true. Like, I am absolutely obsessed with the Golden Girls. I even just got the Golden Girls cookbook, which is filled with recipes that are not even in the show.
Oh, so there's no bacon, lettuce, and potato sandwich?
No, there is not.
Oh, interesting.
It's recipes of stuff that they may have made.
Right.
But I'm also...
What? They may have made a ham sandwich?
Recipes inspired by Golden Girls.
Yeah. But I also think I'm like a super geek on art. Like I'm upset. Like I constantly buy art books. I read constantly about Andy Warhol. I'm constantly obsessed with him.
Here's my thing, though, is that I would say... Because I don't want to disagree with you. I just want to sort of put things in perspective, which is I think that you getting into the world of saying that you're a geek when it comes to art, I still think that in that world of art geeks, you are very far from being an actual art geek.
No, and I wouldn't not disagree with you.
Right.
I wouldn't not disagree. So you would disagree.
I'll give him on that.
No, I mean, like I agree.
Okay.
There's,
so all you had to do was say, I agree.
You're a geek for things you like. You're not an art geek in the sense that you know so many things about areas and artists that you're not even necessarily a fan of.
I geek about Andy Warhol. I geek
Right.
about Keith Haring and stuff like that. Like
Right.
ones that I specifically like. There's a podcast specifically to art hosted by Russell Tovey.
Yeah.
And I listen
You
to
said that like we're supposed to know who that is.
Well, now you do.
Who's Russell Tovey?
He's a British actor and also hosts an art podcast.
Okay.
See? Geeking out. But I
Okay.
listened to it with Matthew, and it's unbelievable how little I then realize I know.
Of course, yeah, because it's a deep world.
Absolutely.
When you start getting into calling yourself an art geek, like you got to go back. Like if you want to be a Back to the Future geek, right? You've got 3 movies to study and the sort of everything around that. When you get into the world of art, you got to go back thousands of years to start your sort of art
But that's
education.
why I keep it to just pop art.
Right, just pop art. Yeah. Okay, I got you. That makes sense.
And I often lie there and dream that if I was born earlier and
That I
in
was
New
single.
York,
That I was single.
if I was born earlier and in New York, I would have been really close friends with Andy.
You would not have. You would not have at all. There's no chance.
But that's why it's called a dream.
No, I know. Yeah. But you would also dream that you would be a completely different person than you are now.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Taller, thinner, more swole, single.
Yes.
Right, Maury?
Yes.
Yeah, all the time.
Yeah,
see,
all of
the
those,
time.
all of those things. Okay.
This was so much fun. Thank you, Mel.
Thank you. No problem, guys. Thanks for
Take it
taking my
easy,
call.
love.
Before
Okay.
we hang up,
Have a
is there
great day.
is there
Yes.
anything you want to say to your crush, Roz?
Nope.
Oh, okay.
Just keep doing what you're doing.
Do you want to know anything about Roz? I can answer. Like, do you want to know what he smells like? Is that weird?
Sure.
He smells like vanilla.
Oh, yes, he does like vanilla.
That's right, I do. Yeah, I often smell like vanilla.
There you go. Thank you, Mel.
Thank you so much, guys.
Bye,
Have a good
Mel.
day.
You
Bye.
take it easy,
Bye.
Emily says here, what has been your most embarrassing moment on the radio so far?
Embarrassing?
Yeah.
I don't know if I've had an embarrassing, like where I mean, there's every day you're embarrassed about something dumb you say, but I don't think like as far as like some sort of grand embarrassment that, people bring up over and over again. I don't know if I have that.
Yeah, I've been trying to think. There have been embarrassing things. Like that time, what was that movie about the dogs? And then after, it was A Dog's Life or something. Remember?
Yeah.
And then there was a story afterwards how the dogs were treated poorly during the filming of
Right.
the movie.
Right.
But I remember telling the story of the first time I saw the trailer for it, and then we watched the trailer in here on the radio.
Right.
And I started to tear up.
Oh, right. And then the story came out that these dogs were abused.
Yeah.
And that yes. But I don't think that I don't think that that's I wasn't embarrassed for you in that situation because you only knew what you knew at the time, which
Yeah.
was the sort of beautiful, heartfelt trailer came out.
I guess.
You didn't cry and say it's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen after you knew that they abused the dogs in that
obviously.
movie.
That'd be real embarrassing.
Right. That would be the embarrassing part.
Yeah, I don't know if I have an embarrassing moment from the show or from being on the radio.
Yeah, I'm trying to think
Is there a
because
difference between embarrassing and ashamed?
okay, let's go with ashamed then, Warren. I'm happy to go down that road.
Let's
with
run
you
down the
if you
list.
wanna-
The time that I interviewed Keanu Reeves and I forgot to beep out the swear words.
Oh God, yeah.
Oh, yeah, we put that on the radio.
and it was the big F too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So is that ashamed or would I be embarrassed or ashamed by that? What should I feel?
I don't know. Probably both, maybe.
Okay.
Because that was like our embarrassment.
Yeah, as a
like that-
show.
Yeah, you should be ashamed. We were embarrassed.
Oh, okay.
We weren't embarrassed for playing it. We were embarrassed because we trusted you.
Oh, I know something embarrassing.
What? Go.
This is like in the very early days of the show.
Okay.
Do you remember when we had the all-male dance party in here?
Yes. Yes.
The one thing I didn't know is that these guys that were in here dancing in Speedos,
Yeah.
is that they were all going to hoist me up over their shoulders. Or was that you, Maury?
No, they hoisted you.
They
No,
hoisted me,
you.
right?
Yes,
yeah,
they did.
That was pretty
Yes.
embarrassing
Yeah, that was fun.
because I didn't know about that.
Yeah, that was fun. But again, interesting though. Like I was just like, it's a tough thing to when you start thinking about embarrassing because so much of what we do is that sort of feeling of like, you allow yourself to be a little bit vulnerable so you can do something that's embarrassing. And I just haven't taken anything with me. Like nothing has really affected me long term as far as anything that would be considered embarrassing.
I think when you do so many weird and fun things, it's hard to be embarrassed.
It's either the list is very, very short or the list is too long to even get into.
Like if you
and I
Google
don't know.
image, there's still a picture of me completely almost nude crushing a watermelon. That shouldn't.
Completely almost nude.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, you and words, I swear to
We're
God.
very much not a racist family. You sound like Prince William.
Okay, Jenny says here, what is your ideal way to celebrate your birthday? Yeah, Maury, why don't you go first?
Oh, like if there was no pandemic? I'm assuming that's what we're saying
Yes,
here, right?
yes, yes. Ideal.
Ideal is going for dinner with my husband and having an awesome dinner and then calling it a night.
Yeah. Yeah, fair enough. Very close to Maury. I don't like birthdays. I've always been whatever about birthdays. Like it's just they've never really been a big thing for me. But yeah, I always prefer to cook, right? But just something that involves food. Catherine and Roxy and maybe my brother and his wife and my mom or whatever. But, but realistically, like ideal, like just me and the girls with food and then a movie and then playing Trouble. That's my ideal night.
That's nice.
We play so much Trouble in the house.
Yeah.
And it gets so wild that it's vicious. Like
Really?
we play an extreme version of Trouble where it is like it's almost violent how into trouble we get.
Violent?
Yeah. It's simply because, like, not violent as in we're violent towards each other, but the game becomes violent. Like there is no, because when kids are little, when you teach them how to play games, checkers, Connect Four, Crazy Eights, all those sort of, the transition games, right? You wind up taking it easy on them because you know that you could slaughter them. So, but you still have to teach them what losing feels like, so they can be a good loser, and then we all play again, right? Like it's sort of weird balance when you have to try and teach a kid how to lose. Then the kids get to a point where they start going overboard the other way. So when they start getting good, they love beating you.
Yeah.
Right? They love it. They
wanna
love
rub your face in it.
they love winning because they start losing less frequently, right?
Yeah.
And so with us in Trouble now, it is a game of death. Like there is no, if you have the option to not crush somebody in Trouble, like if you have all four pieces on the board and you have the option to not crush somebody, nobody ever chooses to not crush somebody.
Really?
Like you could only have one out and I could have all four and I'm sending your ass home. Like you will sit there until you pop a 6 and it could be for the entire game, but you're going home. Like it's vicious the way we play Trouble.
Does Roxy, does she trash talk?
Oh my God, yes.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Roxy will. She first of all, she loves trash talking.
Yeah.
If we play ladder golf, which ladder golf is another great game that we play outside in the summer.
Yeah.
I'll be like ready to throw something, and she'll make a comment about like my shirt that I'm wearing. Or why I'm standing like this, or my strength, she starts questioning my masculinity, right? Like like my strength and stuff, right?
Yo, savage!
Like she's so
wow.
Yeah. She goes hard with trash talking. She's very good at it. But that's my ideal birthday. I think is food, a little bit of a movie, and then some Trouble.
I'll add just to quickly when I say dinner, it's just like usually we'll talk in advance, like what is your favorite restaurant, and then we'll order from that or go to that. Like, That's usually what we do.
Yeah.
And for milestone birthdays, that's usually where we'll try and do
milestone birthdays
30, 40, 50, 60, and if we get to 70.
How many have you had of those?
One.
Okay.
Well, no, sorry, 30, which was a huge party.
Right.
And 40, we went to Chicago.
Did I know you when you were 30?
You did not.
No, I didn't.
No, but I took over a presidential suite at a hotel.
Right.
I had giveaways and
Were
food
you with
sponsors.
Matthew at the time?
Yes.
You were?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I had food sponsors. Listen to him. I had food sponsors.
Wait.
Yeah. I started here when I was 33.
So what was the party we went to at your condo?
That was when the premiere of me on Property Virgin.
Right.
Oh,
That's when Maury,
right.
And Matthew's 30th. You were at Matthew's 30th.
Yes, we were at Matthew's 30th.
Now that was
Were we? Was
you
I?
were invited.
Yes, you were invited. I don't think you went.
No, probably not. Doesn't
Dude,
sound
Sean
like me.
Desmond performed.
Sound like me.
It doesn't sound like me. Something I would do. Mocha, your ideal birthday?
My ideal birthday would be to have a big breakfast that consisted
interesting. Good for
of
you.
eggs, bacon, pea meal bacon, toast, and a cup of coffee. And then to spend the day with my family. Then at around 1 o'clock, take a nap on the couch for a good hour, maybe an hour and a half. And then get up, have a nice big lunch. And then in the evening, another big dinner, hang out a little bit more with my family, maybe even get together with my friends.
That actually, like, I now I'm changing my. That's what I want to do moving forward.
Yeah, you want Mocha's birthday. Hey, you know what? You know what I did? Let me tell you this. So I'm trying out new nonstick pans, and Catherine got me one it's a ceramic. So I'm getting away from the PTFO or whatever the hell they call it. So ceramic. So here's what I did. I was testing it out, and I was doing breakfast, and I wanted bacon and eggs, and I had a sausage left over as well from the night before. So a sausage. So I was going to do over easy eggs, bacon, and then sausage and a little bit of hash browns that Roxy had for breakfast. But what I did first, because I was testing at the nonstick pan, is I went to the fridge and I got a bunch of cheese and I grated a bunch of cheese. And I just put the grated cheese in the bottom of the pan and let it all just sort of melt into a big circle of thin cheese that became super crispy, right? And then I flipped that and I did the other side. So it was this incredibly like crispy thing of cheese, and it was round. And I took this whole thing of cheese and I put it on a plate.
Yeah.
And then I made my eggs, my bacon, everything, and I put it on top of the cheese that was on the plate. So when you cut into it and you're eating your eggs, underneath all the eggs and everything is this like just crust of like fried cheese basically underneath everything. And it was so good.
Can you remember what's the name of the pans you got?
The pan that I used that time was a company called Green Pan.
I wonder if that. So Jenna, in the past couple of months, she's been getting rid of all of our pots and pans.
Yeah.
Every single one of them. We have like a brand new set, and these ones are, I believe, ceramic. As well.
Yeah.
There's another set that we have where the pan, it's like super light. It weighs like a friggin' feather.
So not all ceramic pans are created equal, right? Like it all depends on the processing of putting the ceramic on. It depends on the kind they use. It depends on the layers they use. Like it's not like a universal coating that's regulated. Like ceramic pans are completely unique to the company that makes them. And ceramic pans can develop tiny little cracks in them that you won't see.
Yeah.
It's not harmful to you, but what it does is it immediately destroys the nonstick factor of it.
Does yours, can you cook it on high heat?
You can.
But
So
it's not recommended, right?
No. This one is. So some you can cook on extreme high heat. Some can go in the oven up to 600 degrees.
So the ones that we
Others
have.
can't.
Yeah, the ones that we have, you're not supposed to cook
Over
higher
4.
than medium.
Really?
Yeah, you do a
Interesting.
medium heat, but I tell you, everything that we've made using these pans on medium is amazing.
Well, because ceramic is a conductor, right? So when you have another nonstick, that coating that they put in between the aluminum and your food, okay, is it blocks the heat.
Yeah.
So you have to turn your stove up. Where ceramic, so when you take an aluminum pan and you cover it in ceramic, that whole thing is a conductor of heat. So your ceramic pan is always going to get hotter than your other nonstick pan.
Right.
Right? So that's why they will say to just keep it on medium, because it's going to get as hot as it would if it was on a higher heat. But it took a really long time to sort of land on these pans.
She's been reading on like all this, the bad stuff that our old pans been like potential harm they could give off, and she went and just got rid of everything and replaced with all new ceramics.
So the real old stuff, so the nonstick properties now, the PFTO or whatever it is, even if you had a little chunk of that on the bottom of it and you ate it, you're going to be fine, right? It's just the nonstick factor goes. Up to 2015, there was something else. There was another chemical that they put in nonstick pans that they actually don't anymore, because that was actually harmful
Do you remember
for
the name
you.
of it? If you say the name of it, I'll probably know.
It's another one of those PFT, whatever it is.
That sounds familiar.
Yeah. So there was that chemical that I believe was in pans up until 2015. So no new pans now that you buy that are nonstick have that in it.
Gotcha.
Right. So as far as the hazards go to you, they're little to none when you're using a wide variety of nonstick pans. It's not like you're going to find one that has that bad thing in it anymore in a store.
I used to, all the ones that advertise on TV and stuff, I used to buy those ones. None of them worked.
No, eh?
And then I just bought one for like $12 at the grocery store.
Yeah.
Light as a feather, like Mocha was saying.
Yeah.
The best nonstick I've ever used.
Hey, do you know the trick with cooking with stainless steel pans? Do you know the trick to get it to be nonstick, where you can literally cook a fried egg in it? No. So when most people with stainless steel, okay, when you throw something in, like scrambled eggs in stainless steel is often a disaster.
Yeah.
So when you're cooking with stainless steel, the trick is to up the heat with stainless steel. And you do the water test. So if you drop in water into a stainless steel pan and the water sizzles, the pan's not hot enough.
Okay.
Okay. If you drop more water in and it sort of splashes, it's not hot enough. What you need to do is you get that stainless steel pan to the point of where if you put a teaspoon of water in it, the water stays as a gloop of water, and when it will run around like mercury does, where you can tilt the pan and it doesn't evaporate.
Oh, wow.
Once you
I never
get
noticed
that, once you get the sort of water to react like mercury in the pan, that's when your pan is hot enough to cook something and have it not stick. So
Really?
then you could fire a little butter in, and you could cook a fried egg in there, and the fried egg will not stick because there's a barrier that goes between, there's a vapor barrier that happens between the food and the bottom of the pan. So you have to actually crank the pan up hotter in a stainless steel pan in order to get things to not stick, because
Wow.
that's the mistake that people make with stainless steel.
How do you stop eggs from smoking?
From smoking?
This isn't a joke. Like, because whenever I cook in the morning or something, it starts smoking a lot.
Like your eggs do, or the pan does?
The pan.
Maybe it's a bad pan and you're running it too hot.
Could that be it? I don't know.
Could-
Like I
are
put
you-
oil.
Oil, okay.
And
Well,
then-
oil smokes, yeah.
Yeah.
No, but this smokes like it shouldn't, and then and then I have
How
to
long are you
turn the
cooking the
oven
eggs
fan
for?
on. Look, it's as soon as I drop the eggs in, so it's getting hot. It's getting hot. It's
Are you
getting
talking
hot.
steam or smoke? Because eggs are wet. When you put something wet into a hot pan, it's going to steam.
I'm going to say smoke, and then it starts to smell.
Like what?
Like what?
Like burning?
Like burning egg. Yeah.
So don't cook your eggs for as long.
No, it's as soon as I drop them in.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe you have
that I
food
don't.
like somewhere in your stove, or like is any food trapped
Do you
anywhere?
only ever use one pan? Like, is
Yes,
this
yeah.
just always when you cook eggs?
Always when I
but
cook
only
eggs.
with that one pan.
That's right.
Try a different pan.
Yeah, I guess. Okay.
Do you have a different pan?
Yes, I do now.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Try that pan.
Megan says here, since the show started, who do you think has used the least amount of sick days between Roz, Mocha, and Damn It Maury?
I can immediately say I've never taken a sick day.
Yeah, Maury has used the least amount of sick days.
Have we? I guess we have.
Yeah,
A handful of times.
you have been sick. I've been sick, but the difference is that oftentimes when we're sick together because you'll get a bug and then I'll get a bug.
I've been sick and then off when you guys are off.
Yeah, but I don't think Maury has called us one night and said, "Hey guys, I'm too sick to come in the
My
next
dad
day."
told me never to do that.
Yeah, yeah. Which sometimes you sort of wish you would do it though, because nobody wants you in here when you're contagious. But even Maury with your hernia, you didn't. You just came in here with track pants for a week.
Yeah, that's true.
I still have the hernia.
Yeah, yeah. Do you remember when Maury was in such pain with his hernia, like such incredible pain with his hernia, and then he went to his doctor, and the doctor was like, "Yeah, you're going to be fine. It shouldn't hurt that bad." And then immediately in Maury's head, it didn't hurt anymore because all of his pain was psychosomatic. Like he had just created this pain in his head, and he walked up here for he skipped in the room after the doctor's appointment, and we were like, "What happened to your hernia?" He's like, "Doesn't hurt anymore." And we were like, "What do you mean it doesn't hurt anymore?" He's like, "Doctor said it shouldn't hurt, so it doesn't hurt anymore." It was the weirdest thing. He was limping for a full week and then went to the doctor. The doctor was like, "What are you doing?" And he's like, "I don't know." But he wore track pants. He wore track pants for a whole week.
You know what's hilarious? That week that Maury was wearing track pants,
Yeah.
I didn't even notice
No?
at all until you brought it up, until you
God,
guys brought it
man.
up.
Yeah.
Oh, and I couldn't walk. It was hurt.
Hey, did you get a
I had
haircut?
to sit down.
Did you get a haircut? You got a haircut, right?
I didn't get it. I did it. I do it myself. Yeah.
Because throughout doing this Ask Roz and Mocha, I noticed that your hair is gone.
Yeah,
What
I just
happened?
shave it now because it gets too long. So I just use I use Matthew's body shaver.
Yeah, his body shaver.
The razor he uses to shave his front and back.
Oh, what do you mean? It's front and back?
Like
What's
lower
on the
front,
back?
lower front, lower back.
What's on the back?
Like hair on his ass.
He shaves. Does he shave his cheeks?
His cheeks, and then sort of like he lies down on his back and lifts his legs.
Yeah.
In front of the mirror and shaves like this while
Like
while
that's what you
watching
use
himself.
on your head?
Yeah. Well, it's the only razor we have.
Hold on here. So he uses an
Wait, sorry, wait. Do you say razor or like a shaver?
Like a
an
shaver.
electric, an
Yeah.
Electric shaver. Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
So he lies on his back and puts his legs in the air, and then shaves in between his legs, like in that area there. God, I would have so many ingrowns if I did that. I would never be able to walk.
Oh, he seems like a professional at it.
Really? Huh?
Yeah.
But the cheeks too. Do you shave your cheeks?
No, mine are naturally smooth.
So does he know that you used his butt shaver?
Oh, because
to
he
shave your
helps
hair?
me. Yeah.
Oh, he does.
Oh, he does?
Oh,
Really?
he does.
It doesn't
Okay.
gross. Like he would, if I used the same shaver down there for me, it would gross him out. He would never use it again.
Right.
I don't care where.
But he has no problem with you using his down there shaver on your head.
No.
Right.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I think you did an okay job.
Well, I mean,
I think it's an okay
Turn
job.
around. What is
It's
the
a
bald
little,
spot? No, it's
it's
still
a
there.
little. It's a little monshishi. Like it's a little
Yeah,
monkey.
but do you notice I have the perfect shaped head for
No,
this?
You know,
I
you have,
disagree.
right here in the
disagree.
middle, there's a, what do you call
It's
it?
a soft spot from when I was a baby.
Yeah,
There's
you
a
still have
dent.
soft spot. Maybe that
Yeah.
explains so
There's
much.
a dent, right?
Yeah, his divot.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Like I could put
Don't
a
you-
bowl.
if
And the
you
funny
run-
thing is,
you
when
know
I
what?
push down on that spot, I
Yeah.
feel it in my mouth.
I bet you if you kneeled down in front of me, I could put a boiled egg in that and eat it. Like an egg cup.
Oh my God. At Kiss925 is where you will find Ask Roz and Mocha. That's where we get these questions from. So keep an eye out on Instagram. This has been the Roz and Mocha Show podcast.
Thanks for listening to the Roz and Mocha Show podcast.
Catch the guys live
Weekday mornings from 6 to 10.
on Kiss 92.5
Kiss925.com.
or download the Kiss 92.5 app.